All right, hello YouTube. Welcome to episode 47. Yes,
Agent 47.
47. Episode 47 here of Geekery Abides. We are here to talk all things witchy. And yeah, a lot of fun stuff to talk about. So let's go ahead and hit the intro and dive right in because there's a lot of news too.
He who is ashamed of his geekery has forgotten the face of Stan Lee.
You the proud, the geeky.
This is the podcast, Geekery Abides.
Hello and welcome to Geekery Abides. This is our podcast covering everything geeky except for Stephen King. My name is Tad, and with me as always is Peter.
Hello there.
And yeah,
That's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
General Kenobi. Oh, dude, I just love it that we've basically been prequel meaning for 21 or so years.
I swear, ever since the first time we went and saw one of the prequels, which was episode 2,
Yeah.
we've been quoting stuff to each other.
Oh yeah, like crazy. And then as we got into the realm of prequel memeing being a thing on Reddit and stuff, a lot of the lines that we have said are the ones that get memed.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them.
It's so good, dude. So I love it. We were like the proto prequel memers back in the day. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive on in. They got a lot of stuff to cover today. So first of all, we are hitting up the emails. If you want to email the show, you can do that by emailing either of us directly. Either Peter at geekeryabides.com, which is spelled like anyone this side of Moscow would spell it, or Tad at geekeryabides.com, which is TADD. And that is the way to contact the show. We basically produce the shows every other, so I pick the topics for the odd shows. Peter picks them for the evens.
Yep.
So that is how we do it.
Because Tad is quite odd.
Some might say so. I would disagree. So let's go ahead and jump on over to watching, reading, playing. So, this is nowhere near as big as it's been for me.
I know you're done with your horror fest.
I will say though, I do feel like what is the meme where it's like Tarantino wandering around his house? Have you seen that one?
Oh yeah, or he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, dude, I don't.
You mean John Travolta? He's just kind of like.
Well, there's that too, but there's the one with Tarantino where I think they someone went and interviewed him at his house and they just took some pictures, and all of them just look like he's just like meaningless, just floating throughout his house and stuff. So that's the way I feel after my horror marathon being over. Because I don't know, man. It's been tough. I mean, the Penguin just ended too, so I'm like, I don't know what the fuck.
Agatha's done.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing now.
Do you still have Tulsa King and everything, or is that done too?
I never got into the second season of that.
Not Tulsa King. Mayor of Kingstown is the one I meant.
Yeah, that wrapped.
That's wrapped
early in the year. Yeah, I pretty much have nothing that's running right now. Although that will change. Skeleton Crew's coming up in the future.
Yeah.
So, but for right now, I don't know what to do with my hands.
Yeah.
So, well, let's start with you. What do you got?
So watching Penguin, and I'm gonna skip my next 2 watching because we're gonna come back to them. I'm gonna jump to my reading. I read a book called Batman Resurrection. I think I mentioned it last episode. Yeah. It takes place between Batman and Batman Returns, and it's following the Joker's crew. They're called The Last Laugh. I read that whole book this last week during work. Listened to. And that caused me to watch Batman last night. Michael Keaton's, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
Yeah.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
It's good stuff.
Such a good movie.
Good.
I highly recommended the Batman Resurrection if you're a Batman fan. A lot of twists and turns, but also it's really kind of interesting because they tied in Batman Returns and Batman and Robin and Batman Forever characters.
Oh, really?
Into it. Selena Kyle has an appearance. The Shreks have an appearance. So it's like, hey.
So on a scale of 1 penguin to 10 penguins, how much penguin is involved?
.5.
Well, that's Danny DeVito, so
There's a character who is annoyed that everyone has stopped watching the TV where something is happening Joker related on the TV, and he's annoyed because he's trying to buy these frozen dinners so he can get back down to the sewers to his boss. And I'm like, hey, I know who lives in the sewers.
Yeah, I know he likes to eat raw fish.
That's what he wanted was anchovy pizzas. So, and then my surprise for you is watching. I watched Andor finally.
Oh, I have that on my list as a matter of fact. So,
you rewatched Andor?
So I've been, I've got September, August, somewhere in there. I decided to go through. My plan is to go through everything live action Star Wars in chronological order.
I forgot about
and then
that.
I'm going to bounce back and do Clone Wars because I've only ever seen Clone Wars once, so I'd really like to get to know that more. And then I'm not going to watch that without watching Rebels for a third or fourth time because Rebels is fucking incredible.
Right.
So, and then when I was going through, I did the prequels and shit, and then I would like immediately jumped into Andor's first episode. And then it was a little ways in, and I'm like, holy shit, Obi-Wan comes first. So I stopped halfway through the first episode, went and watched Obi-Wan, but then left off because everything that's happened in the last couple months. So because I was lost and didn't know what to do, I was like, hey, jump into Obi-Wan, finish it off, which, my God, that show was great.
Yeah.
And then I'm midway through Andor right now.
Yeah,
so
I watched,
that's awesome.
I watched all of Andor.
Awesome. What'd you think?
I liked it. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. I like that Andor just wasn't instantly like a rebel.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but that kind of is like the vibe he gives off in like Rogue One. It's just like,
I've been doing this since I was 5 years old.
I've been doing this since I was 5 years old. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you haven't, you fucking liar. Like, but of course he would say that. He's a pathological liar, basically.
Yeah. He also says at some point in Rogue One that I've never been in a cage before, and I don't intend to now. It's like, wait a minute. There's a whole episode of you in prison with Smeagol.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, prison. It's one of those, we're going to keep you there by threat of something, not versus a cage. So
yeah, I guess that's
maybe
true.
that's it. Also, that was one of the most heartbreaking fucking scenes I've ever seen.
I can't swim.
And it's like, oh,
Yeah, indeed.
damn it.
What about Luthen's speech?
Oh, great.
Just
One of the better ones in Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars, you don't really get a ton of speeches in Star Wars, so that one was like, hell, dude, it was very, you know what I said to myself when I almost texted you, but I was like, no, I'm going to keep it a surprise and do it on the show. Honestly, what it reminded, dude, it was so Rebels.
yeah.
That's what it reminded me of was Rebels. It was very
And then
Rebel-esque.
his mom had a speech too,
Yeah.
right? Or not his mom, but essentially his mom.
Yeah.
She had a speech too that was pretty great.
Yeah.
So that's cool. I'm glad you finally watched it. I was actually gonna mention it on mine where it's like you got to get around to watching that, man, because like it's pretty well regarded.
It was cool to see the Chernobyl cast show up. For
Yeah,
this one.
I know.
Like
So many.
what is there, like 3 of them
So
from
many.
Chernobyl in there? And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I know that guy. I know that guy. I know that guy.
And there's a carbon rod in the show. So
Yeah,
there's
exactly.
a fourth one. So.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Season 2's coming. I don't know. We've covered it a little bit in the time, but you haven't seen it. So what they've said about the second one is there's going to be massive time jumps, and I think the whole season, because that's the final season too. They're only doing the 2 seasons, and it's basically going to go from the point they left off and lead up to all the way to Rogue One, which is almost a 10-year window.
Yeah.
So they're going to have like an episode or two, and then jump a couple years. Episode or two, jump a couple years. So it'll be unusual for Star Wars, but I'm looking forward to it. K2SO should be on full display.
Dude, when that K2SO walked up, I'm like, it's him! And then I'm like, wait, no, it's not. Shit!
Also, Ben Mendelsohn has been confirmed for season 2 of Andor.
Excellent.
So,
we were this close to greatness.
dude, he's so fucking great.
I know,
dude.
he's so good.
I love him so much.
But to finish mine off, I've been playing Madden.
do you have another watch? I thought you said you had 2 watch things. You were
The
skipping.
Batman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not the Batman, sorry, Batman.
Oh,
1989 Batman.
Batman.
I'm Batman. What are you? Yeah, that
I
one.
mean, he is the Batman.
He is
Michael Keaton's the Batman for
Yeah,
me.
absolutely.
And I love that the pop culture has come back around on him.
Oh, yeah.
Because for the longest time, Christian Bale's the definitive Batman, and I've rolled my eyes for a decade or more now, where it's like, nope, he's okay.
You know what's funny
but
is that
he's
I
no
saw
Michael Keaton.
I saw one of those Instagram reels where it's a group of people sitting around in a podcast setting. All of them have microphones, and they were talking about what changed. They were talking about this very subject. Why is it back to Keaton instead of Christian Bale? And 2 of them said, dude, it's the voice.
Yeah.
Keaton's voice is so much. I'm Batman.
And-
Like literally, we have a button for it.
I'm Batman.
You know?
That's Bale,
that's Bale. Yeah.
we don't have a Keaton button.
We need to fix that. We need the Keaton instead. I thought that was the Keaton. Did you see my face? I was like,
yeah, because you asked for the Christian Bale.
I want Keaton's Batman. I want to change my.
The other thing
request.
I will say is that he kind of disappeared from Hollywood for a while, and he's kind of had a massive comeback with like Birdman, Spider-Man, The
Flash.
Founder.
Yeah.
He's done a number of things now, so I feel like Michael Keaton's kind of back, and I think that's helped people rediscover that like, oh shit, he was the best.
He was Batman. He was the first film Batman.
And I feel like he's the one that
Batman.
embraces it the most too.
Yeah.
Like you've seen,
dude, you sent me the freaking college accepted. Dude, that was like 7 years ago.
That was actually kind of what almost like the coming out party for Keaton a bit, because like people
there
hadn't seen.
There are some celebrities that don't embrace their
don't.
nerd stuff.
Yeah,
and it's kind of sad because it's like, oh, you were this beloved character. We love you, and it's like, I fucking hated that movie. And that's like,
and that was the first. That was the first time where he really kind of like went to that role. And like Birdman was kind of a riff on Batman a little bit and made people think like, so is he negative on Batman? And then he did that, and then ever since then he's always doing like there was the Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito thing at the one award show where they start talking to him like his Batman.
There he is,
and he just holds like the mean
you
look.
Son of a bitch. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, it's good stuff too.
And then I've just been playing Madden, and I started up Red Dead Redemption 2. I couldn't resist anymore. I can't remember what happened, but something happened where Arthur was brought up, and I'm just like, yep. It's downloaded.
I'm playing Red Dead.
It's downloaded on my computer. Like, what the fuck am I waiting for?
Yeah.
Like, I want to play this game. I want to play it so bad. And I got back into it, and I'm already in chapter 3. I'm already down in roads and fucking around. So.
Yeah. And then the chat, Datvo says, too bad Flash didn't work out. Yeah, and I think the Flash was still great, though. I enjoyed the movie overall, there was a hit, but his part was incredible. And I do wish that the whole Batgirl thing would have happened because he was in that as well. So that's unfortunate that didn't work out, but yeah. I barely played because that's the other thing, I haven't been able to like pick up into anything playing again, but I did turn on Ghost Recon Breaking Point a bit last weekend, but beyond that I haven't played much.
Oh yeah, you started that before your Horror Fest, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. But I also have Star Wars Outlaws that I'm still in the middle of. I just couldn't bring the other part of it, let me get into reading, and I'm moving backwards, but I am reading currently, I'm in the nonfiction realm currently, so Not 1 Inch by Emmy Sarodi. It's a history on the post-Cold War Russia Western relationship. So I'm reading that one, but the one I read before that I mentioned on the show, I think, because they're actually adapting it by Denis Villeneuve. It's a book called Nuclear War, A Scenario by Annie Jacobson. So she basically went through, interviewed every expert on the planet,
minute by minute, what would happen with a nuclear strike.
Yeah,
right?
and so she had talked to people that were on the freaking Manhattan Project. She had people that were in presidential, like everyone you could imagine, and then she basically builds a fictional, and not fictional like, and then the president turned to this guy and said this. No, but more of like, and then this would happen, and then this would happen, and this would happen.
At 10:02, the missile would launch. At 10:03. It would be detected at 10:04, like that kind of thing. And then but I will say, dude, that book absolutely grabbed me by the throat, dude. That is the main reason I picked Ghost Recon to play last weekend, because literally I spent the entire weekend listening to it, not just at work, but then during the weekend I had my Bluetooth speaker, and I was like, I just need to play something that I don't need to listen to because I'm not stopping this book. I can't put it down. So that's an incredible book, and I cannot wait for Denis Villeneuve to adapt said that'll be awesome
book. So, and then I watched The Penguin, finished that off. I finished off Kenobi, like I said. I'm midway through rewatching Andor, and then of course after Andor I'll do Rogue One, and then into the movies, and then the other side of Return of the Jedi, because I did watch the prequels before all this, because I'm literally doing live action in order, and it'll get interesting to get into like all the post Jedi shows and stuff. So it'll be really fun to go through and watch all that.
Mandalorian,
Boba Fett, all of it. So also I watched the John Williams documentary on Disney Plus.
Oh yeah, how was that?
I mean, not a lot that I didn't know, because I'm a massive nerd. I will say, especially because like we did the Batman video games last week, I will say there's a John Williams episode in the future. Not to say that you don't have some to say on John Williams, but I'm sure that'll be a heavy Tad episode.
That'll be a heavy Tad episode.
It was really cool though, and it's just incredible. I mean, the man has done some of the, I mean, somebody in there mentioned it, like they said like he's kind of like the Beatles. Like you look at like 2 or 3 Beatles songs and go, one band, if they did this over the course of an entire career, would be like, they'd be one of the greatest bands of all time. And for the Beatles, this is one record. And it's kind of that way with John Williams, where it's like if like one composer did Star Wars, it'd make them one of the greatest composers of all time. If somebody did Jurassic Park, it'd make him one of the greatest, but it's like he did all of
those,
and it's just incredible.
Yeah.
So good stuff. I also went and saw Heretic, the new Hugh Grant movie. That was incredible. Really enjoyed
Thriller
that.
or horror?
Yes.
Okay.
It's definitely I saw some people arguing right before I went and saw online about is it even a horror at all. I think that's stupid to say because I do think it does hold itself as horror, but I will say there's a lot of thriller involved. I would say it's a very deep movie too. It kind of gets into the realm of like religion and stuff, so more than you'd expect, I guess. But Hugh Grant, I expected him to not be great, but he was absolutely fucking incredible.
You don't like Hugh Grant?
He had more nuance and depth than I figured from a chick flick guy.
Yeah.
So.
You can't doubt those chick flick guys. They turn out to be good actors a lot of times.
Sometimes.
I mean, I can name 3 off the top of my head, so.
Sometimes.
I mean, Ryan Reynolds, sir.
I mean, I like him, but you can't really say that Ryan Reynolds is not Ryan Reynolds in every movie. I mean, that's I know some people say that negatively, but it's like there's people like John Wayne that was their career and they had legendary careers.
Yeah.
So I don't even say that as a bad thing. Arnold Schwarzenegger, there's just people like that. That's not a negative, but it's like he's no Gary Oldman or like the people that disappear.
Gary Oldman started in chick flicks too. I mean, I've seen The Professional to chick flick.
That's awkward. Next up, the last 2 I watched is Assembled, Deadpool and Wolverine. The Assembled is the Disney Plus documentaries. They're both about an hour long. They do the Assembled where it's basically a making of things. So it's an hour long thing, the making of Deadpool and Wolverine. The one takeaway I have from that is because we covered during the making of it that the writer strike happened.
Yeah.
And Ryan Reynolds then
wasn't allowed to ad-lib.
Mm-hmm. There's nowhere in that I saw him not ad-libbing. And they kept repeatedly talking about him ad-libbing stuff. So I was like...
was it before the strike happened? Or?
I don't know, but I kept waiting for and there's the whole time they're like, they kept talking I'm like, it's like they're not even trying to hide it. I don't know the timeline, so I'm not making any accusations. But then
no one knows the timeline anymore. The
No.
MCU's all messed up.
And then I also watched the Assembled on Agatha all along.
Nice.
That came out so I think the same day I watched those 2 back to back. So those are a lot of fun if you're into making of stuff. It's a lot of fun. So
my wife throws in the chat playing Disney Dreamlight Valley, reading First Light Winds, watching Ghost, Shoresy, Criminal Minds, and Schitt's Creek.
Oh, yeah. I love Schitt's Creek. I'm going to have to finish that. I only got midway through it before. Then I think it changed streamers, so I have no idea where I left off.
Oh.
So that's a bummer because it flipped to a different service. So I feel like when I actually get back into it, I'm just going to have to probably just start over.
Yeah, probably.
So that's that. I mean, I don't know if that's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Darn, I have to watch a good thing over again.
Yeah, indeed. First up, sad news. We lost Tony Todd, absolute screen legend. I have a list of things that he's been in. He's a legend. Candyman, The Rock, The Crow, Spider-Man 2 game, the Scream TV series, Night of the Living Dead, the 1990 remake, Darkseid and various DC animated projects, the Final Destination films, 24, Star Trek, The Next Generation, and Voyager, playing different characters. Wishmaster, I think he was also in Deep Space Nine too, because he plays Worf's brother in Next Gen, and I think Worf's brother shows up in Deep Space Nine. Wishmaster, The X-Files, and then Platoon is one of his earliest movies. Dude's just a legend across the board, but especially in genre and horror. He's just one of those guys that never got ashamed to be in a horror movie. So mad respect, mad props to him, and of course,
good night, sweet prince.
Oh,
definitll sad to hear.
I know. He's so good.
He really is. And some of his lines, I'll take pleasure in gutting you, boy. Was that him, or was that the white guy?
I think that was him, wasn't it?
Yeah, because I remember him with the Rocket in The Rock, where it's like, I don't listen to that soft ass shit.
Yeah,
he's asking if you hear the song, the Elton John song. Yeah, great stuff though. And I love The Rock too. That's a great movie. All right, let's jump over to the next one here. Jamie Lee Curtis says, "Never say never to a Halloween return."
Oh, come on.
She says, I have hung up my bell bottoms and my pale blue button-down shirt, and I have relinquished a Lori roll to the ages with a warm aloha, and thanks for all the years and memories. And yet, if I've learned anything in my 65 years on the planet, it's to never say never, which that's fair.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
She previously said about Halloween Ends, this is previous, quote, I realized that would be my last time I ever saw Laurie Strode. It was very powerful for me. I wept. David Gordon Green, the director, wept. We all recognized that moment, and it was a wrap for Laurie Strode and me and this community of artists who made these films. It was a big deal. So, yeah, who knows? But I don't know how they would actually bring her back because I just don't.
She has a twin sister.
But I mean,
what are the soap opera?
But I mean, that Michael is dead, so it's like I feel like if we see it again, it's going to be like a reboot in some way, and it's I just don't see how she fits into that at all. Unless she played like the nurse.
That'd be that's what I was gonna say. Is what if she doesn't play Laurie? What if she says never say never to Halloween Return,
like Danielle Harris,
not Laurie? Yeah, exactly.
Danielle Harris that played Jamie in the first. The 4 and 5, and then she played Annie in the Rob Zombie movie.
Yeah.
That I appreciated a lot as a kid that had a crush on little Jamie.
Yeah.
Because she was like my age, and I'm like,
exactly.
Not many kids my age were watching those movies, but I certainly was, and I had a crush on her. So then as an adult, when Rob Zombies came out and she was playing Annie, I was like,
hey.
I was like, I like that. Next up, Black Phone 2 is now in production. Oops, that's the wrong slide. There we go. It just started production, so that's pretty cool. I have no idea how that's happening because the way that it ended seemed pretty final. But not only is it happening, but Ethan Hawke is back. So I don't know.
Did we get some earlier stuff from him?
I don't know. I really don't know what to think. But I am excited. I'm here for it. So next up, Five Nights at Freddy's 2 will be more fan-centric, says Matthew Lillard. He said, here's the great news. I think the fans fell in love with what we did. I think Scott Cawthorn, Five Nights at Freddy's creator, is the shepherd of this incredible project. And I think collectively the filmmakers listened to some of the criticisms that they got, and they've grown as filmmakers. I think this film is going to be tonally a little different, and I think we're going to have a lot more. When asked about what he means by that, Lillard says, I think it's going to be an action-packed film. I think it's going to be very exciting. Again, I think it's going to be fan-centric, and I think that fans are going to love it. So I don't know if people didn't like it, because I love that movie.
I still haven't seen it. I need to watch it.
I watched it in my Oktober Fest, and it was, I enjoyed it quite a bit. There was some very effective scares and spookiness with those animatronics, man. Like we've all grown up with them. So let's jump on over to the next one, and we have a visual for it. An Agatha All Along tarot card deck and guidebook is coming.
Oh, nice.
You can pre-order this on Amazon right now. I believe it has a release date of somewhere in July.
We should order it and send it to Hayden.
So beautifully illustrated. Each card features a full color illustration of characters or elements from the show, including Agatha Harkness and exciting new characters, making it a must-have for fans. Complete tarot experience. This deluxe set of 78 cards, modeled after the Rider-Waite deck, consists of both major and minor arcana. Perfect for both anyone beginning their tarot practice and experienced practitioners, and worthy of in-depth exploration. And then a detailed guidebook includes a 128-page guidebook with explanations of each card's meaning and simple spreads for easy readings.
Jeez.
So I will say, as I was watching the week-to-week response to this show, there was a lot of people asking for this kind of stuff. The only thing I think I saw asked for more was Agatha's coat.
Oh, okay.
A lot of ladies wanted that a lot.
I bet.
So so that sounds fun. As I was thinking, though, hopefully an Agatha Ouija board is next.
Ooh, that'd be fun. Could be fun.
Next up, Jack Schaefer says she wanted a She-Hulk character in Agatha all along. She said they really wanted to include the character of Madison from She-Hulk. She was deeply funny, and she talked about Jake the Goat. So the line where Patty's like, talk to goats, we were all leaning our heads against the wall thinking, how can we make the goat our gateway, like literally, figuratively gateway of getting Madison on the road, and it just didn't work. It would be shoehorning it in, so we just eventually let it go. Madison was like that secondary character in She-Hulk.
I remember.
Yeah,
she hung out with Wong. And
she was pretty popular, so I don't think a lot of people would have been mad to see her show up. So next up, Jack Schaefer says more of Agatha to explore.
Yeah.
So she said they really wanted to include. She told the official Marvel website, quote, "It wasn't about killing off the character. It was about the evolution of the character. What is the next phase? I still feel like there's more road to explore with Agatha as a ghost. So get ready."
All right.
So, Catherine Hahn is a queen, so I want to see much more of her. So, Schaefer previously told Entertainment Weekly, "I can't speak directly to the handoff to the Vision show, but I think that the people are meant to expect more of Billy and Agatha somewhere in the MCU."
Well, they left it wide open.
Yeah, exactly. But the question I have there, though, does that mean that he might be showing up somewhere else other than just Vision? Because I think we're all assuming it's Vision. I mean, there is also some quiet rumors out there, small enough that I didn't cover them here, that there might even be a Billy show coming up.
Oh, interesting.
So that could be very interesting. Also, she says, I don't know what's going on with that show. I just wish them well. I love Paul Bettany so deeply, and I can't wait to see what they do. So, yeah, can't wait as well. Next up, Elizabeth Olsen teases her return as Wanda. During a Q&A panel, Olsen was asked if there was any particular storyline that she'd like to bring to life in the MCU, and Olsen answered, well, honestly, if I were to tell you exactly what I would want, I think it would be maybe spoiling something. And then she says, Kevin Feige genuinely asks us what we want to do with our characters and then does it. And then she laughs.
That's awesome.
That is pretty cool. So I don't know if I can share. I just want to come back. So that's a polar difference from what she was saying 6 months ago. So, and let's be honest, we all want Wanda back.
Everyone wants Wanda back. If you don't want Wanda back, you're not an MCU fan.
I just want to see her tear someone apart like Thanos. Like, I know he chickened out and got out of it, but I just want to see her absolutely destroy like a high level person. So next,
just pick them up with her powers and just split them in two.
Yeah, indeed.
All Deadpool by Juggernaut style.
Yeah, exactly. So next up, we got a rumor, and it is a doomsday rumor that hints at Wanda's future. So the previous rumor is that Wanda would be a lover of Doctor Doom, but in the latest round of rumors include that Wanda and Doom would be teaming up in the film, and also that this would, and this is just rumors, but also would not be a variant, and this would be the 616 Wanda.
Oh.
So all the idea that she was dead and gone, and if we see her again, it'll be a variant. No, she's not Uncle Ben, so there's every chance that she could come back.
True.
So we'll be interested to see if the destruction of the Darkhold put her on Doom's radar. Also, will she be aligned with him under her own volition, or hence still a villain, or will she be under some kind of mind control or amnesia? Yeah. So also, if she's going to be teamed up with Doom, then I can't imagine that the Vision show or rumored Billy show or series is going to include her. Because if she's going to show up in leagues with Doom, there's no chance that they're going to
have her show up early.
They're not going to. Yeah, the reveal would be there. Although that would then beg the question: is Vision, Billy, and Tommy, how big of a role are they going to have in Doomsday now?
Yeah,
with Wanda on that stage, is it maybe more that like the Vision show or Billy show is about getting Tommy and then connecting with Vision, and then from there you've got them together to focus on Wanda, which would be the bigger stage
in the Doomsday. Yeah,
yeah. So her with Doom would mean we don't. Yeah, so we don't see her till Doomsday would be my guess. I'm also not sure. And I don't think that'll happen before Doomsday. However, that means that Billy, Tommy, Vision are suddenly they're probably gonna have a much bigger role in Doomsday, which that's awesome because that'll be incredible. So, all right, next up we've got another rumor, and it is a possible Secret Wars Spider-Man rumor. And the rumor comes from a scooper, but again, with Marvel leaking fake shit all the time, take this with a boulder of salt. The rumor is all three Spider-Men will have to fight each other in Secret Wars.
Okay.
Which would make sense if universes are colliding and it's fighting over which one gets to continue to exist. That would put all three Spider-Men at odds. So the friendly nature of the last meeting would change up and they'd have to fight each other, which is not uncommon in comic books.
Instead of pointing at each other, they're punching each other.
They're punching, yeah, exactly. So yeah, it makes total sense, but it would probably be heartbreaking for some fans to see those characters fighting. So next up, we got Kevin Feige saying that Miles Morales is coming to the MCU. Yes. So I don't think there's a lot of doubt in a lot of people's minds, but it is nice to hear.
I got to make sure to tell my daughter about this one. She loves Miles.
Feige says Miles will appear in the third Spider-Verse, which those are his movies, which is in production. I hope that shortly after that he can enter the MCU in live action. So I think it's a matter of probably them just not wanting to cross streams and confuse people, so they'll let that third film wrap, and then we'll see him pop up in the MCU in live action. So that sounds fun. Next up, we've got Charlie Cox wants Daredevil to square off with Spidey.
Ooh, not with, but against.
Yeah, and so this is a D23 Brazil, and he was asked who he'd want to fight from the current MCU characters. Cox quickly responded by saying, I'd like to do some fighting with Spider-Man at some point. That'd be really fun. Then the Cinema Pop journalist who asked with whom Charlie Cox himself would like to have a duel from the MCU. Cox outed, now, who would I love to fight against? So maybe he's talking, I don't know. I'm guessing there's some language issues here, too, because they were in Brazil. But he says, fight against, I wouldn't want to piss off the Hulk. So, that is probably wise. I don't think that Daredevil would have a very good time.
Well, no one tell Hulk that that Daredevil took down his cousin.
Yeah, Exactly. Next up, yes, I'm sorry. Daredevil and Punisher will have a wider MCU roles after Daredevil Born Again.
Yeah.
So Marvel TV head Brad Winderbaum recently talked about the future of the characters post Born Again. He said he's so great in that role. I can't wait for you to see him on screen in the series. There's absolutely a future for him in the MCU afterwards. About Born Again, he said though, he says I think this is a series that can run for multiple seasons. So I wouldn't count on the
one and done.
Yeah, and also don't count on the post Born Again stuff to happen soon, because most likely we're going to get multiple seasons of Born Again.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because originally that was supposed to be 18 episodes they were talking about originally, and it got cut down in less than half. So I still wonder if a lot of the stuff that was originally going to be for the first season is going to become the second season. We'll definitely see. But next up, Ryan Reynolds says that Marvel is obsessed with Channing Tatum's Gambit.
Yeah.
He says, I
saw this one.
I honestly don't know what's going on behind closed doors in the bookkeeping sessions at Marvel, but I do know that they're obsessed with him in that role. It's kind of like the same situation I went through. Once you show that it works well, and that's really what they need, sometimes they just need to see it in action. So
yeah,
that's very interesting. We'll have to see if Mr. Tatum will show up further for Gambit. Next up, Reynolds says that they tried to get Nick Cage's Ghost Rider for Deadpool and Wolverine.
I saw this one too.
He says they were in early drafts. We had versions of that sequence, but then it shook out. You sort of looking. We tried to make a movie responsibly as well. It's a big budget. It's the biggest budget of any Deadpool movie, but you want to give yourself as much constraint, which is really what I think facilitates asymmetrical thinking and creativity. If you have too much time or too much money, it usually murders that kind of creativity. So yeah, you're shrinking things. But we did talk to Nick Cage. We tried to get him, but he was a no-go. But I would have loved him.
Yeah.
So I think the movie worked out perfectly the way it was. I don't know that anyone else. All the other like things they tried, I'm almost glad they didn't work out because I don't know. I feel like the balance they had for those cast-offs was pretty well perfect. Yeah. So. Next up, we've got Fantastic Four's First Step. Got its official synopsis yesterday, I think.
Oh.
This is the official synopsis from Marvel for First Steps, which is coming out, of course, next year. Set against the vibrant backdrop of the 1960s inspired retro futuristic world, the Fantastic Four's First Steps introduces Marvel's first family: Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic; Sue Storm, Invisible Woman; Johnny Storm, Human Torch; Ben Grimm, The Thing, as they face their most daunting challenge yet. Forced to balance their roles as heroes with the strengths of their family bond, they must defend Earth from a ravenous space god called Galactus, played by Ralph Ineson, and his enigmatic herald Silver Surfer, played by Julia Garner. And if Galactus's plan to devour our entire planet and everyone on it weren't bad enough, it's suddenly getting very personal. And I've already seen some jokes where it's like, how much more personal does it get than eating the planet?
Yeah.
But we shall see what that is. Next up, we've got a rumor about who John Malkovich is playing in the Fantastic Four.
Oh.
So according to a rumor, he's going to be playing Ivan Kragoff, which is the Red Ghost. Red Ghost is known for his scientific genius and villainous ambitions. He's a former Soviet scientist and cosmonaut and is obsessed with surpassing the achievements of the American space explorers, particularly the Fantastic Four. He gains his powers after deliberately exposing himself to three trained apes to cosmic rays on a space mission. These rays grant Kragoff the ability to become intangible and phase through solid matter, while his apes also gain unique powers, forming a superpowered team under his command. The character is driven by a rivalry with Reed Richards and desires to prove Soviet supremacy. So set in the 1960s,
yeah.
That seems
Cold
right.
War, yeah.
And honestly, Malkovich playing a Soviet scientist, that sounds like a...
Just hook it to my veins!
Yeah, right?
That just sounds perfect, man. I really hope that's true. All right, next up, Feige gives an update on Blade. He says, we're committed to Blade. We love the character. We love the version that Mahershala has of him. I can say that the character will reach the MCU. And this is at Brazil's D23 as well.
There's only ever been one Blade. He's already reached the MCU.
I mean, was it? There's a crossover with the MCU, but that movie was pretty foxy. The Deadpool and Wolverine.
I mean, it's still part of the MCU, sir.
Part of it, yeah.
Yeah. Deadpool was, Blade was in it.
Did you, I don't know if we ever discussed this, but there has been a lot of discussion as to how the sling ring, the Doctor Strange one, why it was able to get them into different universes. Have you seen anything on that?
Yeah, why wouldn't Doctor Strange just be able to use that instead of traveling
through multiverses?
Yeah.
because why would they need America Chavez?
Yeah,
if,
exactly.
If Wanda could have just grabbed one of the rings and used that. But here's the thing. The prop makers are geniuses. There are 2 Infinity Stones on that sling ring.
Is there really?
There is. The space,
Time and space?
Yeah. So.
Time and space or space and reality?
I think it's space and reality maybe are the 2 that are on there. So next time you watch it, watch closely. You look on the sides of it, and you can see some Infinity Stones there, which would then make sense why they can use it to cross multiverses. So
instead of just that universe.
Other places in your own universe, exactly. So that's kind of cool.
I mean, we did get to see that it's not just like interplanetary.
Yeah.
Because in Endgame, they come back from Titan.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
And I think within your universe, anything's a go. You know, especially.
But it's not that far of a step to go from there to. Well, wait a minute. Doesn't the Strange that America's with at the beginning try to use a sling ring to get away from the monster, and then he realizes that he can't, and he tries to kill her, and she kills him, and then uses his sling. No, she uses her power to get to 616. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. So next up, Feige talks X-Men's MCU future. Again, Brazil D23. He says, when we were preparing for Avengers Endgame years ago, it was a matter of getting to the grand finale of our narrative. And then we had to start all over again after that. This time, heading into Secret Wars, we already know very well what the story is going to be up until then and after that. And the X-Men are a very important part of that future.
Yeah.
So not a surprise. But I do wonder, the way he phrased that makes me wonder, is between now and Secret Wars or I don't think we're going to get any new X-Men, but I do think the X-Men are going to be in Secret Wars. I think it'll be Fox X-Men though.
You think so?
Yeah, because I just don't think they're going to go and cast the entire X-Men thing outside of the realm of whatever director is going to do.
We already have Beast showing up in the Marvels.
Yeah, the Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah, Kelsey Grammer
That's
Beast.
what kind of makes me wonder if that's going to be in like the Fantastic Four universe, and then we could see James McAvoy. Yes, James McAvoy. You know, that whole group. So I don't know. We'll see. I'd be stunned if we see no X-Men in Secret Wars. I just feels Secret Wars feels like it's going to be everything thrown at the wall in a good way. So.
And it will all stick.
Next up, Gladiator writer is adapting an Alexander Immortal as a series. So Alexander Immortal, if you don't know, is a graphic novel that tells a lesser-known story of Alexander the Great. Quote, driven by an unyielding ambition, Alexander the Great sets out to conquer the known world, his legendary army unstoppable, but as he plunges into the heart of India and a land alive with mystical secrets and fierce warriors, Alexander faces his deadliest challenge. Here, amidst epic battles and ancient wisdoms, he discovers that the true conquest is not of empires, but of his own soul. Alexander the Great defeated every army that opposed him, conquered every city that defied him, and yet the most profound struggle was with his own inner darkness. Our graphic novel explores his journey through the challenge of rebellion and self-discovery against the backdrop of ancient India. Even the greatest figures confront their own shadows in the pursuit of redemption and enlightenment. So that's the graphic novel, but that's being adapted by one of the writers of the original Gladiator. So
nice.
That sounds, I mean, you know me.
Alexander the Great. Tad is there.
Exactly. That's a no-brainer for me. Next up, some Stranger Things stuff. Final season is coming next year in 2025. That has officially been confirmed.
About time. The kids are about 30 now.
Yeah. There's been some doubts whether it would be 25 or 26, but it is now confirmed for coming out in 2025. The social media for the show posted a short video on November 6th, which is the day that Will is taken to the Upside Down in the first season. So apparently that's going to become their day. Like there's like Batman Day, Star Trek Day. There's like all these days. So that's theirs is the day that Will gets taken. And also revealed along with 2025 being the release date, the 8 episodes of the final season. The 8 episode titles were announced. So they are The Crawl, The Vanishing of ... and I don't know if that's going to be filled in because originally it was The Vanishing of Will Byers is in the first season.
Yeah.
The Turnbow Trap, The Sorcerer, Shock Jock, Escape from Kamazotas, The Bridge, and The Right Side Up. And because the Upside Down was a name in the first season too, so the last episode is going to be called The Right Side Up, so that's fitting. It is said to be taking place in 1987, which is 4 years after the events of season 1. So they're doing a time jump. I don't know that it's enough of a time jump to show those 20-something-year-old kids, but and also and then of course it's confirmed to be airing in 2025, but no solid release date just yet. Netflix is always good at holding off those release dates as long as possible. Next up, out of the what the fuck realm, Macaulay Culkin has joined Fallout Season 2. No one found out who he's playing, but the rumors are he'll be playing a crazy genius type character. So
there are several of those in the Fallout universe. So
yeah. And so that's it's cool because Macaulay hasn't really had much of a career this side of his childhood, and his brother now is having a pretty big career ever since Scream 4.
Well, he was also in Waco, wasn't he?
Yeah, but I think Scream 4 was like 2014-ish, so like I don't think a lot of he was in the Home Alone movies too. He was the kid that pissed the bed. That's his brother, and so then he was in Succession and stuff more recent. So he's kind of had this big like coming out party as an actor and getting a lot of big roles. So it's kind of cool to see Macaulay actually following along and maybe getting some acting as an adult. So. Next up, a rumor: the Harry Potter series on Max wants Mark Rylance as Dumbledore.
I don't know who that is.
Mark, he's a brilliant actor. If you look him up, you'll know him by look. He was in Dunkirk, Bridge of Spies. He was the spy in Bridge of Spies.
Still haven't seen that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The BFG. So Bridge of Spies and BFG were both Spielberg movies. I believe he has a really extensive stage career, and he's very well regarded as being just one of those brilliant actors. So honestly,
I know.
Exactly. There's very few people better to pick than a guy like that. So if that turns out to be true,
he's in Ready Player One.
Oh, okay, I missed that one. So which Spielberg as well. Spielberg has used him quite a bit recently. So next up, we're moving into the DC realm and Batman realm. First of all,
because
Matt Reeves talks the future of the Batchies, which that's my word there. So Reeves had a conversation with Andy Serkis for Interview Magazine, and this is just before the finale of Penguin aired. Just to give context of it, was before the finale. Also, I will say we're not talking a lot about the Penguin for good reason. So
don't worry, we will.
We will. So Reeves talked about what he is looking to do with the Batman franchise as a whole, and he says, we've been talking, and it's exciting because people are now embracing the show, talking about Penguin. My fantasy is coming into being, which is very exciting. And HBO has been incredibly supportive from the beginning. Now to see that the show is being embraced is really, really exciting. We have been talking about doing other shows. I want to make sure that we didn't do the original tale or the Origins tale, which so many other series have done. So it sounds like that might be his modus operandi is no origin stories.
It's why the Batman's one of my favorite Batman movies ever. There's not a single pearl necklace in it.
I feel like the entire comic book film realm has moved to the realm where it's like we're done with origins. I do think there will be some that we might see as you get into some of the more obscure heroes. You're probably going to see some origin stories.
Gonna have to.
Yeah, some of you are going to have to, but a lot of the others you're just not, which is good.
I wonder if the Fantastic Four is going to have an origin.
No,
I doubt they're going to.
No, they've said. Matt Shackman said absolutely not.
Excellent.
There will not be an origin story. You won't see them go into space and get blasted. Like, they will be established when we start the film. So
good.
I think he even said, he's like, it's been done twice in film in the last 20-something years. Like, why do I need to do it again? So.
Yeah.
So going on, Matt says, I think the idea of being able to put a lens on these characters is really exciting idea. It's about cities and their dysfunction and the world and its dysfunction, which is what Batman stories are all about. They're all about Gotham being a place that should be better, and you can just you can have that experience of the almost novelistic epic crime saga, but you also just get these separate experiences. They have their own dramatic value. So Oz is the story of Oz's story, and the idea to do these other stories in the same way. So it sounds like there might be some more series in the offing.
The Batverse.
So, so that's that one. Next up, we got this is always a bummer to hear, but Nicholas Hoult opens up about losing the Batman role to Pattinson. He was one of the people that was rumored as well. So Holt was on the Happy, Sad, Confused podcast, and he said, quote, I remember a week before we did the Batman test, I was driving in my car and I had a radio on, and they were talking about on the radio about how Rob was going to be the new Batman. And I was like, it's not confirmed yet. I'm auditioning next weekend. Give me a chance. Yeah, of course, it's an emotional blow. Your imagination does not know. You are aware on a practical level. I know I'm auditioning against Rob, and Rob is fantastic. That was the right decision. But you get excited by the prospect of Matt is a fantastic director and the script, and it's a cool movie, and I want to be part of it. It's a brilliant character. There's a weird period before you get to acceptance and you see the movie and be like, oh yeah, that was the right choice. You go through this period of what could have been different. Why not me? And you run through all those things. I feel bad, but So that's his quote. And then my thing here is I feel bad for him a bit, but also he did a brilliant Hank McCoy, and he is now Lex Luthor. So that's cool. You don't hear that stuff very often though when people are vying for stuff. And that would be a bummer to be like, hey, I got an audition next week, and then you hear on the radio that Robert Pattinson's going to be the next Batman. Not official, but like the rumor of it. It's like
I haven't even auditioned yet.
Yeah, it's like that sucks. Next up. A rumor that Warner Brothers has plans for a Keegan Joker. And this is the rumor is that Keegan would be portraying the Joker in a Joker-centered TV series like The Penguin, and that would be the center of and then might be the center of a third Reeves film. But shortly after this came out, James Gunn came on and killed it and said, "No truth to this story. Sorry." And then later posted a little bit of a longer response saying, everyone is talking about this. No, there's no truth to this. A Joker series has not even been discussed, nor has it even come up at this time. So sorry. So
I wonder if that's...
I do like Gunn because he will just throw water on shit where he's like, because some of this shit just gets made up, you know, and Keegan is obviously a brilliant actor, and, you know, like having nabbed him right before he won an Oscar in a Joker role, like, not to say that like Joker's like a role that an Oscar winner might not want, but it's just like I feel like they got the timing on that perfectly, and it's just caused everyone to just come up with a lot of shit. And James Gunn's always one where he's just like,
no,
yes or no, because he'll be honest too, but yeah, we've had discussions about X, Y, or Z, or yes, we're working on that or whatever. So sounds like that's just a dead rumor.
I wonder if that's also wanting to distance themselves a little bit more from Joker too.
Yeah. I see. I'm torn because on one side, I if we didn't see the Joker on live action screen again for 20 years, I'd be fine because I just feel like we've been oversaturated with the character, and the character's interesting, but not that interesting. It's been overdone at this point, in my view, and I know I'm in the minority here. But then Barry Keoghan is a brilliant fucking actor, and him doing the Joker might titillate me. So
absolutely.
So I'm very torn on it. But next up, we got Colin Farrell saying he has been signed for 3 Batman films.
As who?
Penguin.
He's not Penguin.
So Farrell told The Hollywood Reporter, I signed up for 3 Batman films, but I didn't know if I'd be in the second film. Matt Reeves is a brilliant writer and an extraordinary filmmaker. And what I'm most excited / nervous about is in the second film is not about what Oz does or what predicament he finds himself in or what moments of success he gets to experience, but what his voice is. How is his personality? It was forming and changing in the limited series, and by the end of the 8 episodes, it's which also interesting. I didn't realize that everybody calls it a limited series.
Oh,
so that's interesting. By the end of the 8 episodes, it's concentrized onto something else, and there's a degree of almost delusional psychopathy present in the last scene. He continues. So how is that taken up in the second film? I was told I would have 5 or 6 scenes, so that's interesting. I don't have any hopes or any expectations. I'm really an open book, and that's the way I get excited by shit or not. I think sometimes actors, if they have a career that has a certain length of time, they sometimes get to make too many decisions, which isn't to say I won't push back or argue or fight in Oz's corner, because I do believe I know him better than anyone now. So
we'll see. He's got to play the character first. I mean, the other guy's pretty good.
You and your conspiracy theories.
You were right there with me.
Have you seen the interview with the actor that played Sophia?
No.
She was on Kimmel, and he showed the 2 pictures of, Colin and Oz, and she's just like, it's so weird. She's like, because I don't know that guy. She's like, I spent 8, 10, 12 hours a day talking to this guy. And she's like, then, she's like, I was at some press event and ran into Colin, and she's like, it was so bizarre to me because, like, the eyes I recognize, but the rest is, like,
completely
a different person. And she's like, it was just bizarre for me. And, like, when you think about the run of that show, like, did anyone have more scenes with him, like, especially, like, intense face-to-face scenes than she did? Like,
no.
So it's like, yeah, they probably spent a good chunk of time working together. So... and then maybe I should have saved my Joker comments for here because Reeves talks the Keegan Joker as well. So Reeves says, quote, anytime you're going to approach any of these characters, you have to find a fresh way to do it so that it makes it incredible. That makes it incredibly daunting. At the same time, this version of Penguin is a version of Penguin that no one had ever seen. The only way to do it is to feel like you're earning your place because otherwise you're just doing more and people are going to be like, well, we've seen it. So what do you got for us? So how can it be the thing we love, but also something that we haven't seen? That's always the challenge. So with a character like that, that would be the bar. So that's not a bad way to look at it. 'Cause,
No, it's not.
Yeah, I want to see something different if we're going to see him again. So
Yeah.
next up, rumor. Or wait, did I click the wrong? There we go. Yeah, I did. First up, rumor: Bond director and potential requirements for the next actor for Bond. So the first rumor is the 12 Year of Slave director Steve McQueen is up for directing the next Bond movie.
Wait, the director's name is Steve McQueen?
Yeah.
Okay.
So and they got a quote here. Steve is one of the UK's best filmmakers and has an incredible vision. The word is that Bond producers want to see if Steve would even consider having a hand in the film, and they got a positive response. It would be incredible if it came off. So that's the rumor. As for the Bond actor, Barbara Broccoli and her brother Michael G. Wilson, which are the two. They're the Bond masters now. So Cubby Broccoli was the legend that created it. This is the kids that now they're the stewards of the character.
Okay.
So they were interviewed. Barbara said, "It will be a man. He'll be likely in his 30s, but whiteness is not a given. And whoever says yes is doing it with the expectation that they'll have at least a decade's worth of films." So, which makes sense to me. Like
Daniel Craig had
exactly
what, like 15 years, 16 years?
Yeah, and they're not going to invest in someone for anything less than 10 years,
Yeah.
right? Because I mean, nowadays, if you're lucky, you can get a movie off every 2 years, but most likely it's 3 years. So it's like that's only 3 movies. So at least 10 years would be
Trilogy's just fine.
Yeah, exactly. And then Michael said, every time we cast a new actor, the films change. It's an excitement of a new Bond, a new direction. Every one of these people who took on the role offered something new and different. And then Broccoli said about her father's view of the franchise, quote, he always said that these films are like a circus coming to town. You set up your tent, everybody comes in, and you create magic. It's all about pleasing the audience, making sure that people get their bang for their buck. So that's kind of an interesting view on Bond, too. And then next up, we've got Christopher Nolan adding a bunch to his next film. We already know that Matt Damon was in it, and then potentially the lead. And then Tom Holland was added. Well, now we are attaching a whole bunch of people, including and looks like they're all getting some female company. We have a Nolan alum, Anne Hathaway, being cast as
Catwoman.
well. We also have, and she was in Interstellar too.
Oh, I still haven't watched that. I need to watch that.
Oh, dude, yeah. That's an incredible movie. So a newcomer, Zendaya.
Hey.
So
Tom and Zendaya together. That's awesome.
And then Lupita Nyong'o. I always stumble on her name. Maz Kanata. She's been I think she was in Us, the Jordan Peele movie. She's a great.
Yeah.
She was in Black Panther too.
Yeah.
So she's been added as well. So that's pretty cool. What? Also, I just realized, why did you ask about Steve McQueen being his name?
Steve McQueen's a famous actor, isn't he?
Is it?
Back in the day?
Or is it the character's name? I don't know. I always see his name nowadays because he directed like 12 Years.
What was the actor that no, he's an old school actor. He's the one that got killed in a decapitation car accident. Isn't that him?
I don't know what you're talking about.
There's Lightning McQueen from Cars, like, and everything, but
Oh, okay.
oh my God, what is the? Am I mixing up two? I think I'm mixing up two actors. Is what it is.
Maybe
He's like in The Great Escape.
Sorry, I threw that curveball at you. Going back to
Steve McQueen is his fucking name. Don't look at me like I'm fucking nuts. Steve McQueen is a fucking action hero. And he fucking died when he was driving his car. He had a bag of money and everything like that. And
I've heard that about like 3 different
it's
people.
fucking Steve McQueen. How the fuck am I the crazy one here? Steve McQueen is a real fucking actor. Don't make me think I'm crazy.
I've heard the whole money behind the head thing against like 3 different names. So I think that until I actually see some proof on that, I'm going to believe it's just an urban legend. It's kind of like the whole getting ribs removed to fillet oneself, or the actress that or musician that has to have their stomach pumped because of certain fluids.
Magnificent Seven, The Great Escape, Bullet. It's Steve McQueen.
It doesn't matter because the different unions don't require independent naming. Like a director doesn't have to worry about an actor's name.
Yeah.
But if it was a different actor, they'd have to get a different name. That kind of thing. So next up, Poker Face adds a few more to its cast. So I don't know if you watched Poker Face yet, But
No, still haven't.
You need to get that on your list for sure. So new to the list for season 2, Awkwafina from Shang-Chi, Corey Hawkins from Straight Outta Compton and Kong Skull Island.
Fucking Awkwafina's in fucking everything right now.
She was so great in Shang-Chi, though.
When's that movie with her and John Cena coming out?
I didn't know such thing existed.
Yeah, it's one of those like Prime only movies, like straight to streaming, like made not straight to streaming, made for streaming.
Yeah,
it's a lottery idea, but the lottery is a bad thing.
Oh,
she becomes like the most
Shirley Jackson's lottery.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, you never read that?
No.
The Haunting a Hill House. I think it's the same author. Maybe I'm getting the names mixed up. But the book is basically like they do a lottery and the person that wins gets stoned to death. And like the family that like you're following's mom wins it. And like the kids are all crying, but then when it gets to it, they all just stone her to death.
Oh shit! No,
yeah. I read that.
It's called Jackpot.
Okay.
It is out. Oh shit! It came out back in August. Apparently, it's not very good. 31% of Rotten Tomatoes. But the idea is that it's she wins the jackpot, and if someone kills her within like 24, 48 hours, they get the money instead.
Oh.
So John Cena is a bodyguard who's trying to save her.
I think I saw something on that because it gave me Running Man vibes.
Yeah, exactly. They're like trying to run and like put her in disguises and everything like that. So
also Simon Rex has been added from Red Rocket and Method Man, former musician. The cast list is already a mile long with a lot of great names, so I can't wait to see it. One thing I'll titillate you on, so it is the disco chick from Detroit Rec City is the main actor in this. Yeah. But she's like on the run, but she could like always tell when people are lying.
Yeah.
And it goes through different town stuff.
But
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is in it.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt's.
And I know you.
I love Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I do know you love him. Next up, we've got Daniel Craig says he wants Wake Up Dead Man in theaters after the second Knives Out movie basically was in theaters for like a weekend, I think.
Because that was during the pandemic.
So the third of the Benoit Blanc saga is being produced by Netflix, so it's unclear if we'll ever see theaters, and certainly we'll never see a physical release, I say begrudgingly. Hopefully Netflix will push it out. This is Daniel talking. Hopefully Netflix will push it out a bit and people will get to see it. The people I speak to, the fans, I suppose, all they want to do is take their families and go see this in cinema. That's all they want to do. Hopefully we can give them that experience. So, yeah, agreed. Punch someone in the throat, make it happen. Next up, Josh Gad teases his Spaceballs 2 script.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about this.
I'll believe it when I see it still.
Yeah, we'll see.
But he says, quote, without MGM taking me into their Culver prison cells, I can tell you that the draft is done, especially, and everybody who's read it has been blown away. The process of working on this with and alongside Mel Brooks has been one of the highlights of my career, which, yeah, how would it not be?
I mean, yeah.
Let's see. Make sure I don't miss a slide. There we go. Next up, Star Wars is getting a new trilogy by Simon Kinberg. Mm-hmm. So they will take place. It's going to allegedly take place after the Rise of Skywalker, but it seems that Lucasfilm is disputing that this is 10, 11, and 12. So it might not actually be connected to the greater Skywalker saga. Another report later said with his previous works in the Star Wars realm, he was seen as a safe pick because he worked heavily on Rebels.
Okay.
So I've made the joke a number of times that he's going to be adapting the Phoenix trilogy or Phoenix saga for a third time. But no, I mean he worked on Rebels, so in my mind, like let the man cook because Rebels was fucking incredible.
I love Rebels,
and he was a great. He's great with a lot of stuff, but yeah. And then Andor Season 2 is getting its release date. This is actually where I was going to strong arm you and say, you need to fucking watch Season 1, goddamn.
I already did.
I know you did now.
I got you.
So it's coming out on April 22nd, 2025. Yeah. So that's when it debuts on Disney+.
I only got to wait about 6 months for it. That's awesome.
Yeah, not too bad. Next up, somehow Samuel L. Jackson has returned in Star Wars. Allegedly. This is a rumor. Yeah. But Samuel L. Jackson has been pounding the drum that people have gone through worse than Windu and survived in Star Wars virtually since Disney bought Star Wars. And there's no telling if this is going to be live action or animated or TV or movie. This is just the rumors are that Samuel L. Jackson is in talks for a new Star Wars project. So I don't want him to still be alive. I don't
want him to be a Force ghost.
I don't fault his logic that people have been through a lot more heinous shit than him. But like if they did something like the Tales of the Jedi and they brought Sam Jackson back to voice the character in a earlier setting, like I would be cool with that. I just don't know if I want to see like a inner trilogy period, and you got some grizzled fucking hobo Mace Windu like stabbing people in alleys,
wandering around Coruscant's lower levels.
Yeah, exactly. That's not what I want to see.
Mace Windu the hobo.
Maybe some people want to see
He has amnesia. That. No one knows who he is. He just fell out of the sky one day.
He just Samuel Jackson yells at people.
Yeah.
Hey, get away from me. Next up, a rumor that Lucasfilm actually views Rey as their most valuable asset. The rumor is that Daisy Ridley will appear in multiple films in the future, and that Disney sees Daisy and Rey as the most valuable of their assets in the Star Wars realm. In my mind, this isn't even a question. I know there's a lot of haters that will probably get mad at this, but like, tell me where the lie is. Tell me someone more valuable in the Star Wars realm than her. She defeated the enemy. She defeated the Emperor. She was taught by Luke Skywalker. She takes the Skywalker. Like, there is no fucking argument, like, unless R2 and 3PO you're gonna say is more valuable. That they're,
you still
not.
have Chewbacca around, and he's definitely more valuable. I mean, you skin him, you're gonna get a lot.
He'll be a rug in the next movie. In THX 1138 is where the word Wookiee was created.
Oh, was it really?
Yeah. So there was a point where they're doing a chase on a highway type, and it's all like super like fucking Blade Runner, futuristic shit.
1984.
And there's a point where the guy's over the radio is like, I think I just hit a Wookiee. And like, I don't know if like Lucas like just stole that from the guy, or if he came up with it for that, and then like eventually later it evolved into Star Wars. But like the first ever appearance of the word Wookiee in film was like 6 years before Star Wars and THX 1138. So
that's a little trivia thing right there. What was the first movie that had the word Wookiee? Star Wars 1977. Incorrect.
You are wrong. We need a wrong buzzer. That's a one.
Wrong. You're wrong.
Next up and last up, there's a just behind the scenes rumor, because I will say about the Kinberg trilogy, there's part of me that like just can't get excited because there's been so many starts that never turned into anything, including a 2026 film got taken off the calendar too. I didn't have that on my list, but which is allegedly the Rey movie, because they were swapping out writers, so it's probably not going to make the 2026 date. I have a hard time because so many of these movies have been announced and then nothing comes of them, that it's like I can't be excited. But that's kind of what this is getting into. One alleged studio insider said it's different. It's a different way of development. There's so much parallel work going on. And then, as we know, George Lucas's Star Wars films are considered to be the Old Testament of the franchise, and the report points out that, quote, nothing has been codified or made more canonical in modern times than those three movies. And then you're going to be asked to create the New Testament, and no one can agree on anything, and there's second guessing about everything. And then another person said Star Wars is a nostalgia-based enterprise, and they're running out of ways to create nostalgia, which I think that's a misreading of Star Wars. But
no. The problem with that is that if you're only looking at Star Wars as a nostalgia-based fan base, then you're missing the point that Star Wars is for kids.
Yeah.
You need to create a new fan base and then have nostalgia in your next series, your next movie, when those kids are 10 years older and 20 years older, showing it to their kids. Because I'll tell you right now, I wish I had some new Star Wars to show my 12-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
This is the age where I should be having new Star Wars movies to show her. Yeah. But I don't, because you fuckers can't get it right. That's what it comes down to.
Agreed.
It's not a nostalgia it's a nostalgia thing for me, but you want to build a new generation, and that's what Lucas has said this since the fucking 70s, man.
Yeah.
We're how far is that? 50 years removed from this almost?
Yeah. Next year is the 50-year anniversary. Or no, I'm sorry, 2 years from now is the 50-year anniversary of Star Wars.
Is seriously just make something that a 12-year-old boy and girl are going to want to go see.
Yeah.
That's who your target audience is. Guess what? Us Star Wars nerds are fucking there.
Yeah.
Complaining, bitching, and moaning, majority of us will be there still.
Yeah.
But if you want to build a fan base for the future, when we're dead and gone in Force Ghost, focus on the kids.
Well, I don't know if my side gets Force Ghosts.
There's rumors that there is Sith Force Ghost. There's a concept art of it.
I know, but I object to that wholly. I don't believe in Lucas.
Gotta be one with the Force.
I'm a Lucas purist, and I just think in Lucas's realm, that's one of the things the Sith don't get is Force Ghosts. That's a Jedi thing. So, and
in,
even it's not even widely in the Jedi either. I mean,
Yeah.
Qui-Gon discovered it and then taught it to Yoda and Obi-Wan, and like Anakin gets it, but I think that's kind of a chosen one thing. So I know
Luke gets it.
yeah, that's your way later.
Yeah.
I see. I'm still stuck in the earlier times.
But sequels are part of it, and everything.
Yeah,
So,
but some of these.
but see, like just look at the sequels. I think that's one of the big problems with it is that yes, you have Rey introduced, but aside from Rey, BB-8 is the only other new character that has any longevity.
Because
to
Finn and Poe were screwed over so hardcore.
Oh, they butchered them.
But I do think that the next Rey film, I do think they're gonna not retcon, but I think they're gonna make Finn Force sensitive, and he'll be part of her Jedi Academy, which I think will be a big.
That'll
win.
be a big help.
Yeah, for sure. And then the last one, to make standalone movies or continuing the Skywalker saga in any form is a fundamental question that the company faces as it tries to move forward. So it's just, this is all rumors, but these are allegedly, insiders are kind of giving us an idea of maybe what it looks like behind the scenes and why it looks like the way it does. Like versus Marvel. Feels like for every one Star Wars story, we have like 4 Marvel ones, because it feels like we can get more excited about Marvel, because when they announce shit, it comes out.
It's
almost entirely
Fantastic Four's coming out on that date.
Yeah, like Blade, that's the exception.
But there's so few of those for Marvel, whereas Star Wars, it's majority rule.
Yeah.
Like we haven't had. When's the last time we had a Star Wars movie in theaters?
2019.
5 years.
Pre-COVID.
We've gone 5 years, an entire pandemic, and an entire president without a Star Wars film. Come on.
Putting it in context, yeah, for sure.
Come on. That's
Indeed.
I have one bit of news.
Okay.
It's a rumor. I looked, trying to find confirmation, and there is none. But
the Batman
there is
release date?
No.
Okay.
No.
I keep seeing fake rumors about that. October 2026.
It is Batman related, though, is that Rocksteady failed miserably.
Oh, I've heard that too.
Suicide Kills the Justice League.
Yeah.
That Warner Brothers and them want to go back to the Arkhamverse. The rumors that's been rumors for months now since Suicide Squad.
Well,
the
one that just came out recently is they're going to remaster the first game
Arkham
and then
Asylum.
a whole new game.
And the thing about the new game that's coming out is Batman Beyond. With Terry finally showing up, is going to be you're going to have an old Bruce.
Yeah.
And you're going to have him teaching Terry the ropes of being Batman years in the future.
Yeah.
But it's going to be set in the Arkhamverse. So the events of Asylum City and Night, you're going to have Batman Beyond set 40 years in the future from that, or 50 years from the
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm there for that. I don't know about the remake of Arkham Asylum.
I know, because
it's going to be kind of weird to be at the level of Arkham Knight. Like if they go back and redo it in the battle sense of like the combat in Arkham Knight, and then you come down for City and then go back for Night.
Yeah.
That's going to be kind of weird.
Yeah. And I also seen some people saying why remastered, it still holds up.
Oh, dude, people still play that game. I play it all the fucking time.
Yeah. I saw that too. I did have to try to cut some back because there's a fly here. No, it's fine.
We talked about those games last time.
Also, Conan was announced for the Oscars.
I did see that. That's cool.
That's pretty fun. I can't wait for that. He's one of my favorite gingers.
I love Conan O'Brien.
Me too. But that does bring us to the main topic.
It's been Agatha all along.
Dude, that's still a banger.
It's not as good as the Ballad of Witches Road.
So I mentioned that to someone, maybe it was even Hayden, about like the Ballad of Witches Road was just like an earworm. And I was like, dude, I don't know if I've had an earworm like that since like Book of Mormon. And I think it was Hayden. He's like, actually, I think that one of the 2 writers of Witches Road is a Book of Mormon.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
And I looked it up, and I'm like, that's true. And I think they actually worked on the Agatha all along as well. So that's cool. So yeah, we're talking Agatha all along. The show is wrapped now. We've talked about it,
and it's been a minute since the finale. So if you haven't watched it, spoilers incoming.
Yes, indeed, spoilers top to bottom.
We got to make sure to put that out there.
Yeah, I think we take it for granted sometimes to talk about spoiler warnings on this show. But so I mean, this is the show. They obviously played a lot of fun games with the titles. It had like 12 titles to all pay off for this being the title. So first of all, what was your thoughts on Agatha in WandaVision?
I loved her. I mean,
I just wonder with you, because sometimes you're so like, good guys that sometimes,
I respect. No, see, the problem is like the problem I have, Tad, is when you say that the bad guys are good guys. That's where we start having fundamental issues here. Is when you're like, yeah, Darth Vader was the good guy. It's like, no, he's not. He's a fucking tyrant. He's a piece of shit who murders children. He's a bad guy. No, he's the right system of good. No, see, that's where we have issues with bad guys. Is when you try to make them good guys. Agatha was bad. Agatha was a villain. That's the fact.
Were you? Because I mean, I loved her. I mean, Catherine Hahn's amazing. So like when they announced this show, I was pretty excited. What about you? Like, what was your initial?
I was like, okay, like she has the memory charm on her and everything. We're gonna see what happens because Wanda died.
Yeah,
like that was almost like 1A 1B happened like right after like Agatha either was announced right before or right after Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
So you get Agatha memory charm on her, so she thinks that she's someone.
Yeah.
In Westview, and then Wanda goes off into the Multiverse of Madness and dies. And so it's like, okay, well, what happens to Agatha then? Okay, we're going to get an answer. That's what this show's going to be about. And
yeah.
That's literally what the first episode was.
Yeah. So what were your expectations going in?
I had none.
Yeah.
Like lifting the memory charm, maybe finding out a little bit more about her. That's it.
Yeah. In terms of, I guess, where does WandaVision rank in your Marvel show rankings?
It's pretty high.
Okay, because I know it is for me, but I don't know where it's.
I'm honestly struggling to remember anything beyond Captain America and WandaVision. So,
Secret Invasion didn't exist. She-Hulk. God, what else has there been? Hawkeye. What else? Echo.
WandaVision's better than all of those. So,
what was coming out? There's Loki.
Loki, then WandaVision.
Okay.
I love Loki.
Yeah.
Like the way that it all tied together and everything.
Yeah.
I love Loki.
Yeah.
Now it kind of maybe it's gonna miss on my next watch through, and WandaVision will jump it because of the whole Kang stuff now is dropped.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be kind of.
I still feel like Loki season 2 ended in a way where you can kind of make that the resolution of Kang.
Yeah.
Like he's holding off that. Whatever.
Yeah.
Although there's been some rumors that we might see the Council of Kangs by maybe a Denzel Washington that might get wiped out.
Oh, that'd be
so.
Dude, just have Mace Windu show up for that.
No, he already existed in Marvel.
So, and Nick Fury can't be a variance of Kang. Tell me that doesn't make sense to some degree.
I mean, I guess Robert Downey Jr. is Dr. Doom.
I mean,
so.
Dude,
although
really, seriously,
I still maintain we're not going to see his face
the whole time.
I think it'll be. I hope it'll be a true Dr. Doom, or if it is, he's so messed up and scarred that you won't recognize him.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So for me, like WandaVision's my number one. I love Loki, but like WandaVision was the tops for me. Just I love Wanda. And it's funny because it's like Wanda. My love for Wanda in the comics even came from the fact that she's the daughter of
Magneto. Your all-time favorite comic book hero.
Exactly.
Comic book. Damn it!
Yes.
Oh,
I got it on tape. I love it. Thank
I'm
you.
done.
Thank
That's where I retire. Is when I call Magneto a superhero. That's.
I guess we can take that debate off the long-term list of ideas because you just. But yeah,
done.
So Magneto's one of my all-time favorites. So I ended up loving like, Wanda. It's funny because I never really got into Quicksilver as much. I think it's just because speedsters to me are just kind of meh. Like he's not terrible, but I just never found him as intriguing as Wanda. And down the road when Wanda wipes out mutants and all kinds of, she's just uber powerful. Like she's in that same realm as Magneto. So I always loved her because of that. Obviously, Elizabeth Olsen does an incredible job with the character. And I just honestly, like, what I loved about WandaVision was it felt truly like a television show. Mm-hmm. And I feel like so much of modern streaming misses that, where it feels like a 6-hour movie and not individual episodes where there's beginning, middle, and ends. And even if it does carry on into other episodes, like Game of Thrones, every episode of Game of Thrones has a beginning, middle, and end, even though it's part of a larger narrative. And I think WandaVision's the first show in streaming that truly nailed that. And part of it was because they were mimicking old television shows, which was genius too.
I think one of the reasons why WandaVision works so well, and maybe this is just me, is that I got something after it now. Like, that's the reason why Loki and WandaVision are 1A, 1B for me, is that we have Loki, introduced the TVA. We have the TVA in Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
Wanda introduced that. We have Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, and now Agatha all along tied to it.
Yeah.
When you put more meat onto the bone, it becomes better. Look at the other ones that we mentioned: the Captain America,
Oh,
the
Miss Marvel.
Hawkeye,
Miss Marvel
and
just came to
everything.
mind. Was another show.
Miss Marvel's
Yeah.
probably third, but Miss Marvel with the Marvels again.
Yeah.
When you have more to go with it,
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's the character from Miss Marvel. Like I love Kamala Khan.
Yeah.
Like, she's adorable.
She's so great, dude.
Yeah, and so I think that might be the reason why Hawkeye doesn't spring to mind, or Echo doesn't spring to mind, is because like those two are kind of tied together. Echo was introduced in Hawkeye.
Yeah.
It's like, it's okay,
Yeah.
but I want to see it. I like when it comes together. And seeing Loki with like the TVA and everything like that, it brought a lot of stuff together. And then you get Deadpool and Wolverine, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people are just going to say that that's just a comedy and everything, but I think that it had significance for the MCU that
Yeah.
is going to be felt for years to come.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And so that's where a lot of people are going to be like, are kind of missing the mark on Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh, it's just a stupid, Deadpool movie. It's only that. No, it's more than that. It has significance. And I think that's where WandaVision for us is at right now, is that it has significance.
It's the spark of essentially
of something, yeah.
I mean, now there's been rumors that Jack Schaefer is going to be potentially getting a Billy show.
Yeah.
People are stumping for her to get a Wanda standalone movie because there's been rumors of that. Like, I just feel like there's this whole witchy wing of the Marvel Cinematic Universe now.
Yes.
And it all started with Wanda. So I know we're taking a little bit of time on WandaVision, but it's like I feel like that's kind of the not even prerequisite, but it's just it's kind of the brick that this show is then built on top of.
Yeah, exactly, and that's what I'm saying is like that. Maybe that's the reason why I liked WandaVision so much, and that's the only show that I've gone back and rewatched is WandaVision. Out of all of the Disney Marvel stuff, that is the only one I've gone back and rewatched more than once.
Yeah,
is WandaVision. So I'd have to say that it's my number one, even over Loki. It is. So
yeah. Jumping in here, we start the show with the first episode feels very prestige TV.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people said like Mayor of Easttown, is it the one with that was on HBO? Because there's like the Mayor of Kingstown and then the Mayor of Easttown, but it's different. It's Mare because her name is Mare.
Okay.
So there's like that show where she's like an investigator and stuff. So it's like this is obviously doing that whole thing, and early in the first couple episodes it really did feel like and even throughout the whole show it felt like kind of like a WandaVision in a sense of like you were getting different time periods, different settings. The whole Agatha flipping through the different costumes in the morgue in the first couple episodes, like just felt like a huge tribute to WandaVision, which is really cool. Seeing some of the same costumes that she had.
And then the body, you're like, that's Wanda.
Yeah.
Like they're not showing it, but that's Wanda. Like, look at the hoodie, look at the jeans, that's Wanda. That's fucking Wanda.
I saw some people even debating that, and I'm like, how?
Shut the fuck.
Like, it's
of course they didn't cast Elizabeth Olsen to play a dead body. Like, fucking come on.
No, not everyone's to the level of Val Kilmer. Did you ever see that in the early, probably the early 2000s? I think there was a movie where it's like there was a bounty on a guy, he dies, and it's basically a constant fight over the body to get it turned in, and then Val Kilmer
just plays the dead body.
Oh, I love it, and
he's like, easiest $6 million I ever made.
But he's so talented too. That it's like you can't even think like, oh, he doesn't have any talent, so that's why he picks a movie like that. But it's like, oh, that's like Doc Holliday. Like he's very talented. So
he is.
So I just wanted to I'm ultimately just gonna popcorn around everything, not even go through the whole show.
Yeah.
Necessary blow by blow. But let's talk about the Coven.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? I mean, because I think we all know Catherine Hahn is a god, and Agatha is incredible. She's just even if she's bad, like you just can't help but love her. Like she's just got that.
Yeah.
She's got that electricity to her as an actor, to where you're enthralled. I think most people are enthralled by her. So also the first female ass in the MCU.
Yep.
Which is her idea too. It sounds like. Yeah. So you have to say female though, because there's a bunch of people missing that there was a couple asses previous to this. The Hulk's ass in Thor Ragnarok, and then God, there's someone else too. I don't remember what, but there's someone else.
Don't we see Robert Downey Jr.'s?
I don't remember.
I thought we did.
There's certainly another one outside of Hulk. So, but still, Catherine did incredible there. I love just the build into like carrying off from what WandaVision ended, and like the town's still there. Those people are
and
all
they're
still
so
there.
traumatized.
Yeah, they're all traumatized. I love the dudes
Oh,
react.
right. Yeah, my wife's right. Thor's ass.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, duh.
I was thinking there was something earlier too, but yeah, that Thor is for sure. Thor.
Yeah,
Thor
that's
and
the
Hulk.
one I'm thinking of. I knew it was one of the big ones, like Evans. One of the Chris's or Robert Downey Jr. Like, yeah, of course it's Chris Hemsworth. Of course he showed his ass.
Yeah, you flick too hard.
You like too hard. All the women are like, oh my god.
Yeah, I will say it's the woman of our group that remembered.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I love that. But I love the during the initial. Also, there's a couple good. Have you rewatched WandaVision yet? Or I'm sorry, Agatha.
No,
yet.
Like I said, I've only ever rewatched WandaVision.
So
that includes Agatha.
in the first episode, she's humming the Witch's Road.
Oh, is she?
And I want to say that the theme music to the show in the first episode is a version of.
Oh, is it?
There's no lyrics, but it's the beat of or the tune. So, and then she's whistling it when she's like in the car, all like moody and like driving to the crime scene and stuff. So there's a couple really cool like. I think the show will be worth rewatching. I've rewatched a couple things.
Yeah.
That goddamn nuclear book though foiled me.
Oh yeah.
Because
yeah,
I was meant to.
Yeah, you were talking about rewatching it.
I meant to rewatch the whole thing last weekend, and I thought about even during the course of the week. I just didn't get a chance.
But that book.
I do really want to rewatch this though, because I think there's a lot of really cool stuff that's built in. So, let's go through the. We all love Agatha, but what about the? Do you have an MVP from the Coven?
Fuck. I got to admit, I'm drawing blanks on all of their names all of a sudden, putting me on the spot like that.
You got Lilia, Alice, and Jen are the main ones.
I liked Alice. Jen's the apothecary one, right?
Yeah.
Like the one with no magic.
Yeah.
She rubbed me wrong the entire series.
Really?
I did
She
not
grew
like
on.
her.
She grew on me quite a bit by the end. I think early on I was like, I always liked her in terms of like because she was funny, like some of the shit she would say, and like her like self-preservation was very funny to me.
Yeah.
But she ended up growing on me toward the end. But yeah, so
I did not like her in the slightest. She rubbed me wrong the whole way.
It's because her last name's Kale.
Yeah, like blech, gross. Ugh. If I ever had to eat kale, I'd probably die.
There is that seaweed they say is really good for you, and it tastes like bacon. So I still haven't.
I'm not trying it. No.
Why? If it tastes like bacon.
Doubt. They say shit like that all the time, and it ends up tasting like fucking cardboard. Like, come on.
Oh.
No, I think who's the old crazy one?
Lilia.
I think Lilia was my favorite.
I agreed.
Because the thing is like I look at the whole story of the character.
Yeah.
And when you find out what she's going through and what she has to experience while trying to navigate the Witch's Road.
Yeah, I think long term her arc is probably better than anyone other than Agatha's.
I think it's even better than Agatha's, honestly.
But even early on, just her fucking remarks and shit are the
just
best.
random shit.
I'm not getting in an oven. Happened to a friend of mine. She had the most lovely house. It's just the best, dude. She had some of the best.
I fucking love it.
Now
Alice was cool. Like the
let's just give up the best laugh though, right? I know I'm tangenting us in the middle of this conversation.
No,
but
go ahead.
Biggest laugh, was there any that really got you? For me, it was one of the versions of Who's Miss Hart with Agatha after she dies, and she's like, Miss Hart, who's that?
Oh,
and
yeah.
She does like multiple times where she's like, who? And
Who?
it's just brutal.
Yeah. I can't remember. There was one episode. It might have been like episode 2 or 3 or 4, somewhere in there. There was one thing that really busted me and my wife up. We had to pause the show. We were laughing so hard. I don't remember what it was.
Really?
Maybe she does. But yeah, I liked the cranking up the intensity in that second episode. The second episode, the third episode where they're put on the first trial.
Yeah. So the first trial is the with the wine and the high end
the poison.
And, the poison. And did you see him miss Hart? Like they didn't put her hair in it and stuff. So even if they had let her drink it, I don't think it would have worked.
Nope.
So
no, I didn't miss it. No, I saw it. Like I'm like when they come sliding out, I'm like, she's dead.
Yeah. And also, let's just give a call out to the fact that she's in this too. I guess I missed her when I was talking about the Coven, but she's there too. And dude, I was so happy when I saw her show up when she just goes out and grabs her. Oh, hey, come on here. We're having a party.
Yeah, my wife doesn't remember what made us laugh either. Maybe on my rewatch I'll remember, but there was something that just, dude, we were laughing so hard we had to pause it.
Yeah, I had a couple laughs, but I do think a lot of it was Agatha just being terrible.
Yeah.
So,
of course you would.
Yeah, but yeah, so you say Lilia is your favorite then?
I loved Lilia.
Yeah, she had
and then her ending too, like that the Salem 7 and everything in the tower was just so well done.
Yeah. She's like a big time Broadway actor.
Oh, really?
Like they call her the Queen of Broadway.
Oh, that's cool.
She's considered one of the greatest Broadway actors of all time. So,
nice.
To have her, I mean, she's done some TV and movies over the years, but this is certainly getting her on the map with a whole new generation of people that aren't Broadway
cool.
people. So
yeah, she nailed it too.
She really did. Like the Liza Minnelli thing and her costume and the band one was incredible. I just think across the board she was just winning me over, and I loved her even nuttiness. Like we end up finding out what it is,
dude,
but it's
I knew in like the third episode, second or third episode, I turned to my wife. I'm like, we're gonna come find out that all means something, and it's gonna make total sense. Like she's bouncing from reality to reality, or she's bouncing through time or something like that. I remember calling it out to my wife, and then when it happened, I'm like, yep.
Yeah, I think I brought it up to at one of our hangouts with Hayden, where I'm like, if you took two of them from two episodes, it was save Agatha, and then Alice don't in the next episode. It's like if you do those backwards, Alice don't
save Agatha.
Yeah. That's where I started to suspect. Okay, this is all going to come together for her. But when they finally did it though, it was just that's one of the best episodes of Marvel TV ever, if not the best episode. In fact, I don't even know where it sits now, but I know when it first hit, it was going really well. And it always sucks too because there's a lot of people that review bombed the show.
Yeah.
9.1. So I don't know if that's still the highest. I think originally it was like 9.7 or something like that for that episode. But so for me, they're all great. I do think I think Alice I probably liked the least, not because she was bad, but I feel like she was the least developed.
Yeah.
I don't think because there was no real like conclusion to her mom, because her mom didn't die on the road because the road doesn't exist, right? Her mom just died in a fire, which she said originally, I guess. But I guess there was. I mean, she tries to be the heroic one to save Agatha and stuff. So not to say she doesn't have anything, but I just feel like there should have been a little bit more with her, and so I just felt like a little bit less connected to her than the others.
I honestly kind of expected her to come back.
Yeah, I think a lot of people did.
Like Agatha would have remorse for killing her and would bring her back.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't, and it's like, well, that's kind of off-putting. Like,
yeah.
I kind of expected that, you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, are we going to talk about it?
What? I mean,
the best character in the whole series?
Well, we already talked about Lilia.
No, we didn't.
And Agatha.
No, we didn't. We didn't talk about her.
Oh,
Death.
I mean, yeah.
Death.
I did hold her out of the Coven because she's really not part of the Coven.
I mean,
she
was there in the Ouija board. That's part of the Coven, right?
Yeah, the Ouija board says who's with us right now.
Who's here with us? Death. And she laughs so fucking maniacally.
Yeah, and when she's laughing on the broomstick.
Oh yeah,
like during
the witch's cackle. It's so great.
And again, Lilia, this is so demeaning.
Did you like how they had to make brooms for each other?
Yeah.
Like, you can't just make your own broom. Like, you had to have two witches to make a broom. Like, I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and then was it when they're in the Lilia trial where she's like, what am I wearing? She's like, you could be culturally offended later. Oh, and dude,
so good.
Agatha, when she's in the Wicked Witch, she's like, she's based on me, you know. Like,
yeah.
She's the best, dude. She's so fucking good. She is so incredible. Like, I just loved, like, it reminded me of, like, Austin Powers.
Yeah.
Like, with his, like, poses and stuff. But yeah, no, Death. I mean, Audrey Plaza. I mean,
she killed it.
What better role?
Pun intended.
What better role for her? I mean,
I don't know if there is one. You know, honestly, the only one that would fit Audrey Plaza more is the Kat Dennings role in Thor, the assistant.
But it wouldn't have been as good as her playing.
It wouldn't
Death,
have been
though.
as good as her playing Death. That's the role that comes to mind. It's like the smarky comments and everything like that. it would have been different because Kat Dennings has like the lighter, but Aubrey has like the darker Parks and Rec history.
But that's
so
like really her too, because I don't know if you've seen that like the Emmys one
Yes.
where she's on stage with like the entire Parks and Rec cast. She's like, "Hail Satan!
Yes.
Thank you to the devil for helping us win this." People behind her all like, "No, don't say that."
Yeah, like it's funny if you're April saying that, but don't say that as Aubrey. And she's like, "Fuck that, I'm doing it." And I sent you the video. I don't know if I sent it to everyone, but I sent you the video of her answering like most Googled questions about her, and it's like, I don't get why everyone's so obsessed with my feet. Like, what is this? Like you guys are weird, and stuff like that. She's like, you guys are sickos, and it's like, dude, she's so amazing.
Yeah, she's great. I mean, we also haven't talked about probably my favorite character in the show either.
Oh, really?
Teen.
He's your favorite?
In the whole show, absolutely.
Over Agatha and Death?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
100%.
Interesting.
Again,
I would
though,
not pick that.
We're talking grandkid of Magneto.
I mean, true.
So, like, I have always liked Wiccan, too, like, in the comics. Like, it's just an interesting character because it was, like, even before, like, society really changed on gay stuff, they made him an openly gay character, which so it's kind of like, and this is, like, in the late 90s, early 2000s. Again, like, you're talking, like, major politicians weren't supporting gay rights and stuff yet. So that was
like
kind of
actively campaigning against putting it like their rights down.
Yes, exactly. So like that was kind of cool, but I just always loved it. Again, it's like Wanda. It's like, okay, he's got like the witchy magic power stuff. And again, like the speedster thing was just never. It was like it's same thing with Wanda. It's right. It's
you never liked super speed as a super.
No,
power.
it's just. I mean, it's cool and it's got its place, but like it's never. I've never been like Flash is the best Justice League.
Yeah.
Like it's just I don't know. There's just something about it. It kind of feels boring. Like cool, they go fast. Like and it just feels like to me there's a lot less like nuance to like what can you do with that. Like cool. So every Flash villain is a speedster that he has to like. It all just gets so repetitive. Whereas like witchiness and like magic, it turns into like you could talk about death. You could talk about the devil. You can talk about
tarot cards.
There's all
spells. Wands, all the stuff with witches, but with speedsters, there's only one option: go faster.
Yeah, and
what else can they do?
And so it's like two generations. It's like Wanda and Quicksilver, and then it's Billy and Tommy, and it's like both times I'm going the route of like power because it's just more interesting. But like I've always loved that the character a bit. I even I think it was about a year or so ago I read the Young Avengers, and I think he was my favorite of them too. Just his personality is great and stuff. So it's just like he's great, and then Joe Locke just fucking killed it. Like he did such an incredible job. And I suspected early on that there was something with him, but it wasn't until a few episodes in that I'm like, oh my God, are they actually going to make him freaking Billy?
Yeah.
You
called it like 3 episodes before it happened.
Yeah, because early on I was like, is he going to be like something like, I know I'm almost become a meme at this point, but like Mephisto type stuff because of WandaVision. But it's like, it could be something like that. It could be someone that's got like, got it out for like Wanda and wants to like, help Agatha because he's like, I mean, ultimately he plays a super fan early on, right? And it's like that was great because he's just the super fan of her and shit and of witchiness, but he's like training. But it's like I can't remember, it was the second or third episodes. There was something where I'm just like, oh my God, would they dare?
Yeah.
Because like, and again, in my mind, I've been telling you all in our group that it's like they've been building the Young Avengers for a number of years now. Yeah. It's like it's coming, and so it's like it would. And we have also already been introduced to Tommy and Billy, obviously as younger. So like once it hit me like, oh my God, what if they aged him up? Like, and so like, and then I started like suspecting and like watching, and like obviously it ended up happening. But
I really like the way that they did it too, because it's like what's his name? Ben? The body that Billy goes into?
Billy Kaplan.
Billy
or I think they said William, but it's
William.
They're both Billy in the comics.
Billy, okay.
But I think in this they tried to differentiate it by saying Billy Maximoff and William Kaplan.
So William like passes away in the car accident and everything like that. But they played it off as like, well, he went to the first body that was available.
Yeah.
But who knows where Tommy went?
Yeah.
And Tommy doesn't know who Tommy is. Like, he doesn't know who he is. He just woke up one day in that body.
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah, I was debating with someone because the one thing is there's a big change. There's Billy Kaplan's parents die in the car accident in the comics.
This one they're not dead.
They didn't, and that was such an interesting choice because it's like now he's having to play this like double role.
Yeah.
Well, he's like struggling. I mean, like really, he's like what 10? Truly, when he dies in the hex, like he's like a 10-year-old maybe.
Yeah.
And like really only like what, a couple weeks old if you actually looked at like they age themselves up a couple times. So it's like then he moves into like a 13-year-old body. It's like that's still like the realm of a 10-year-old, if not maybe he evolved to a 13-year-old, but that's a stretch to then deal with like that whole idea of like who am I and like the parents and he's like reading their minds. Like it's but I was debating with someone, who do you think's got it worse off? Like or I think my question was, did he pick the body for Tommy on purpose that doesn't have any parents? Because did they cover that in the show? Because the big thing with Tommy's second body is he's like an orphan going through like a rough.
It seemed like he was being bullied and drowned.
Did they say? Was there a line about him not having any parents?
I think that they said like he's alone.
Yeah,
in the world.
And I told someone online, I think, or I'm like, I think Billy did it on purpose because of all the struggles he had with the dual identity. He found someone that didn't have parents, so the kid wouldn't be tied the same way he is. Because now he's always gonna struggle with even like when he decides to go after Tommy and then after Wanda. Like there's always gonna be those Kaplans at home
that he has to think about.
That they think that's their son still. So it's like I feel like there's like a psychological torment there, and I'm wondering if he picked a body specifically for Tommy that wouldn't have that like protect your brother type thing, right?
Tommy's not going to go through what I had to go through.
Yeah, with that. Now, yes, that doesn't mean that he has it easy because he's going to be an orphan that's bullied and like he's going to end up being because in the comics he ends up being more of a troubled kid too.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting his last name, but like he ends up being like one that has like a criminal record. I want to say he's maybe even in juvie locked up when like initially everything happens. So like we'll see, but like. But no, I think Joe Locke's performance was a big part of it because he just did an incredible job, both playing the just fanboy trying to learn witchcraft to that moment of full reveal and like
with like the blue crown and everything.
Yeah, kicking Agatha's ass by using the other witches, so he's not actually blasting her with his powers and stuff.
Yeah.
Like just incredible stuff. And then the finale or the second to last episode when he's in the full costume for the fight was incredible. So that's for me though. I mean, but I kind of held him outside of the coven because he felt outside of it. It's not kind of like Death. To me, the coven felt like those witches, and then there was Death and Billy that are just on the periphery.
Gotcha.
What was your favorite trial?
Lilia's.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I mean, it's my favorite episode. It's my favorite scene. It's my favorite character in the whole show. So
yeah.
I guess I should say that she was my favorite in the Coven. She's my favorite in the whole show.
Yeah.
I thought she was phenomenal. I love the character arc. I love everything about her history and the trauma that she has from not living her life in a
linear
fashion. She's jumping all over the fucking place, never knowing what's going on.
Yeah.
And still being so strong. Dude, she fucking wiped the floor with the Salem 7. It's like, eat shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, she was great. I mean, you're preaching to the choir. I also saw, I can't remember if it was on the Assemble documentary, or if it was just something I read interview wise. But they asked when they were getting ready for the Witches Road thing, and they're like, okay, so like, what are we all going to sing? And everyone, they're like going around, they get to Patty, and she's like, honey, I only sing soprano, and you're backing me up. Because again, she's one of the she's one of the greatest Broadway performers of all time. So she's just like, you're all back up to me, and I'm soprano. So
yeah.
I'm like, that's so cool.
That's a baller move.
I love that so much. But I did love the musician one. I didn't like that version of Witches Road as much as the first one. That's probably my favorite version. Not first chronologically for us, not because once you get to the final episode, you end up finding out there's
several.
There's much earlier versions. But I love the band thing, especially the costumes.
Yeah.
Like that. Someone that grew up on like hair metal. And
I loved every single trial having different costumes and settings and everything. I thought that was fucking
the sleepover.
Great. Oh yeah, they're all in their pajamas and everything.
Yes, good stuff. I don't know if I ever mentioned to you guys because I was like spinning my brain as I was watching this show because there was just so many things. But I don't remember I mentioned it to you guys, but the ghost thing with her mom, I was like, dude, she's gonna fucking die and become a ghost because Death's line about I fucking hate ghosts essentially. I'm like, you watch, man. Agatha's going to end up a ghost because it's like, what better way to thumb the eye of death than that? I did have some incorrect predictions. I thought that Agatha would have killed her kid by him blasting her with power and then taking his power on. Not that it's her choice, right? Because that's the other debate, though, is does she have a choice, which the finale gives you or second to last episode gives you the impression she does, because she doesn't take all of Billy's.
Yeah.
So she killed Alice then, that means.
Yep.
Because she made it seem like that's not my choice. Like, I can't control it. Like, somebody blasts me, like, I'm going to take everything they have. Like, not my choice, but that's what happens.
What if she'd never tried before? What if she never really tried before? Like, she did it for Billy.
Yeah.
Like, that could be the evolution of the character kind of thing, is that it's a choice.
Yeah.
You know, she tried her hardest, and she was able to actually do it for Billy. Maybe she actually did try for Alice and just couldn't.
Yeah.
Because she didn't care enough for her.
Maybe, but that's probably her first taste of power after not having it for a while. So I wonder if it's even a concern, or if it's more of just, we end up finding out in the finale, she's been doing this for centuries.
Yep.
Like, she gives no cares. But I do think that Billy, there's something about, I think she connects Billy to her kid.
Yep.
And I think even early on, before we find out it's Billy, there's just like a connection. There's just like, I mean, she's watching over him in the first or second episode when he's knocked out on the road, or the third episode. There's a point when he's like unconscious and she's like very motherly and stuff. There was just a few signs early on where it's like, there's a connection. There's a connection. There's even some people speculating that he would end up being Nicholas Scratch too. That was another.
I wouldn't have been
theory.
Surprised if that had been the case, because it's like, why are they hiding his identity if it's not someone that we know who it would be?
Yeah,
like,
and then Lilia's the one that put the sigil on him, dude. That's so cool. Dude.
Oh, it was so great.
So cool. And then like the fact that means it's Doctor Strange is Lilia's fault then.
Yeah.
Because Wanda's looking for the kids, and pretty much immediately Billy would have been in a new body. If that sigil doesn't happen, she would have been able to find him.
But since it hides him from all witches,
then she, that's brutal. But no, and then the Death's Hand in Mine episode 7, the Lilia trial though was pretty great.
Oh,
the classic witches costumes were incredible.
Oh yeah, amazing.
Just the whole Indiana Jones setup with the roof was great. I did see on the making of thing where they were talking to like the guy that did it, because it was all practical.
Yeah.
And he was all like, he's like, if something were to malfunction and break, it actually falls up. He's like, we basically made it to where if there was any kind of catastrophic failure, it would go up and not down. So
that's
like
so smart.
Essentially, the engines that move it were moving it down, and if those were to fail, it would either freeze or go up. Kind of like I've heard that with elevators too, where they've got like the locking mechanisms where it's like there's virtually no way for an elevator to truly plummet. These days.
It's like the safety mechanism makes it wider, so it's like it physically is impossible for it to fall because it gets wedged.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool, but that was probably my favorite. Did you? Let's see. I guess the finale we haven't talked about much yet. I was pretty shocked with the second to last episode because it felt like the final. You know, it felt like the finale. I was like, what the fuck are they going to do with the rest of this show?
We have a whole nother episode.
Yes, and then I start the episode and it was a longer one. It was like 40-something minutes. So I was like,
what?
What is going on here? Did you have any suspicion that the road wasn't real?
No. It blew me away when it happened.
I saw some people online speculating that Billy was creating, or that everyone. I ended up finding like once I started suspecting, I started to realize like everyone was calling him Billy, and I was like, I just didn't connect to me that like that's what they meant. But a bunch of people thought he was Billy from the get-go. Apparently, there's even interviews with him where before the show started, they're like, "So, do you have any hopes for Billy? Beyond this Agatha show?" And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I play teen."
Yeah.
So he plays that whole game with.
It's good that he's not Tom Holland then.
Yeah, exactly. So I saw some people speculating online at a certain point, but I waved it off. I'm just like, I don't know if that.
No, it's real. Like, Agatha's done it before.
Yeah, but I was doubting that though. I was like, did she truly do it before, or she just let this lie grow over time that she's been on it?
It's just a reputation thing.
Yeah, I thought the road existed, but I was seriously doubting Billy brought it up a couple times. Like, have you actually been on the road?
And she's like, yeah.
And just the way she acts it just there was a few times where I'm like, I don't think you've actually been on the road, or you've that you've succeeded on the road. If you've
That
been on it,
would
you
be the
failed.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's the whole idea. Oh, that's how she got the Darkhold, or she sacrificed her kid for the Darkhold. Like, there's all these like things, and I'm just like, I was suspicious of her. It is funny to go back. I've watched the Witch's Road scene because I have the music one on YouTube, but I found one that was a little bit extended that showed like them going down the stairs and stuff. It's very interesting to watch her reaction now, knowing that
She's all shocked.
yeah, like, and you see it in that first episode where it's like, or second episode where she's just like,
This isn't real.
yeah, and then
Yeah, because even like I did rewatch that scene on YouTube. Is because what's interesting is like they finish the song and she's like, "You guys suck," or like like says you're off tone, or she insults them in some way because she's trying to incite them to blast her.
yeah,
That's all she wants is she
Yeah.
wants power because she
Yeah.
has to be able to defend herself from the Salem 7.
yeah,
And so that's what she's doing is she's trying to get them to blast her.
yeah,
And so basically she would have killed Lilia and Alice and Jen and I just spaced on the first one that dies, the non-witch.
Mrs. Hart,
Mrs. Hart. They would have just been standing there.
yeah,
But she would have got two witches' powers to be able to defend herself then at that point.
yeah,
So it's just like when she looks down and sees the door, she's just like, "What?"
yeah. Yeah, exactly. There's a shock there for her, and then later on, it's like when she's like, "You've got to tell," it's like, oh, the fact, and you're a lot like your mother. Like, there's a couple lines she has that I was most fixated on because it's like, is this really Billy? But then when you go back and watch in retrospect, and it's like, oh, there's no road. Like, he's creating all this, and like,
And that's why she's
That's
like
the
very
tell.
cavalier about the road.
yeah.
In some parts.
And there's one point when he asks her something, and she ends up just asking him, "What do you think?" I don't remember the context of it,
Yeah,
but
it's like,
he asks her,
where should we go next? I don't know. Where should we go?
Yeah,
Because she knows that he created it.
yeah, she just bounces it back at him. So yeah, and it's just I can't wait to rewatch the whole thing because there's just like things like, oh, you always stay on the road, and like the rules she gives. I'm like,
And
she's
so that's what's one of the
making
great,
this shit all up.
Yeah, and that's one of the great things about this Agatha all along is that there is a rewatch value.
Incredibly.
Not only with WandaVision it being, like directly related to that and being like, okay, that's the direct sequel to it kind of thing, and Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, but also there's a rewatch value because it's like, not only do you have like Agatha figuring out that there's no road and seeing like, oh, she knows there's no road and seeing like her reaction and everything like that, but then you also go back and you can rewatch for Lilia as well.
Yeah.
And all of her stuff, it's like, oh, that's when she was talking to her mom, and
Yeah.
that's when she was at the bar mitzvah, and that's where she was, and,
Yeah.
and everything. So they did a really great job with that, making it so that I'm going to want to watch it again.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it may be the most rewatchable, even more than like WandaVision, Loki.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like this one is one where it's like, there's so many like mysteries on mysteries and shit that it's like, I think going back and rewatching it's going to be very, very rewarding.
Well, like I could just imagine what that first episode is going to be like. Now we know what it looked like to Teen or
yeah,
Billy.
Yeah.
And
then we ended up getting like some of the like what did it look like from his perspective?
Yeah, like
she's in her delusion.
Yeah,
right?
the running down the alley is like a cop thing.
Dude, when she gets into the fake car,
Yeah.
is that your laugh? In the first episode, or the episode, she's finally woken up from the whole thing, and she sits down, and there's like the fucking stirring spoon, and like there's all this shit just put together in her house, and she's like, "Oh, this isn't my car."
It might
she's
be.
been in her delusion.
It might be.
Dude, that fucking killed me, dude. That is one of the biggest laughs because it
Yeah.
was just so ridiculous. And then you start thinking, and then there's one point she had like was it a hairdryer in her?
Like a holster, yeah.
Just, I just want that first episode extended and then just show me it from the real perspective. And
Like
then all the,
have them on top of each other.
and then all the neighbors know.
Agatha and Billy's versions of it.
Yeah, and all the neighbors know, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Like they know that she's hexed, and they're just staying there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you were really obsessed with true crime," and like they're just letting her live in her fucking la.
Yeah, because they don't want to bring down Wanda on them.
Yeah.
They don't know that Wanda's dead.
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, think about that. Like after what she put them through for months
yeah,
and everything, they don't want to draw her back.
yeah,
She's gone. Leave
Yeah.
it alone.
yeah. What did you think of Boner having his return?
Boner.
Quicksilver.
Oh yeah. That was pretty cool.
That was cool. And he's like the Reddit conspiracy
Yes,
guy, and like,
yes.
is Wanda dead? And like, yes, or no, that's Agatha when she
Yeah.
asks, is Wanda really dead? Yes, no, I don't know.
I don't know.
And which is like a brilliant
Yeah.
from the filmmaking perspective, where it's just like give
Maybe.
a definitive answer, but then like waffle on it.
The Departed line that me and my wife quote to each other all the time. Maybe not. Maybe go fuck yourself.
Except that line's wrong though. I've been
I
saying
know.
that for. I've been saying that.
I don't care. It's better that way. It's how it is, Tad. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Like, you could have the line wrong. Maybe go fuck yourself, or like no. It's
What is
better.
it? Maybe fuck yourself, I think is what it really is.
It's,
I agree. I watched the video not too long ago.
because I think you sent it to me and you're like, we've been saying it wrong. But yeah, it's maybe not.
Maybe fuck yourself.
Maybe fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But it's maybe go fuck yourself. That's way better. Way better. I'm sorry, it is.
So finale, we haven't really talked about it.
Dude.
What about that backstory, man?
Dude.
The
Okay.
song.
The song. Her son.
The son was supposed to be stillborn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like all the hate that she threw at Death, like they were already obviously in a relationship.
Yep.
Now the question people have had is did Death have something to do with the baby? Did they create that baby together?
And that's why
And then
Death
when she's trying to give birth to it, like it's supposed to be stillborn. That's why she's there.
that's why she's there, and that's
And
why
and then, dude, how much that kind of makes Agatha seem really shitty.
Mm-hmm.
Like when she's like, everything you did to me and you took from me, and like she just gives her all this shit, and it's like, dude, she gave you time.
Yeah.
That baby wasn't supposed to live ever. It was supposed to die.
It's that question, right? We've talked about this with Arrival. That's that question, that hard question as a parent,
but you can't blame her the way that Agatha was blaming her.
Yeah.
I guess, like, right? Because like she gave you the blessing of whatever it was, 6 years or whatever. Not to mention that final, like, give your mom a kiss type stuff. Like, there's just not that she was awake, but it's
not
like,
that Agatha knows about that, right?
yeah, but it's just like I don't
we
know.
know about it, yes, but this is where my one question. I knew we were going to be able to talk about this because we both love the series so much. This is where my one question that I wrote down the second that you announced that this was a topic, even before seeing the finale. But it's even more prevalent now with the finale. Is Agatha a villain? I know you have such a twisted view on what's a villain or not. So I got to know, does this fall into the Randall Flagg, Magneto bullshit?
Here is the thing I would say. If she's a villain, then Wanda's a villain.
Why?
Because I don't think there's much difference between the two in the larger sense of like what Wanda did during the course of Doctor Strange. Because I would say, I would argue that Wanda's not a villain. Now, did she allow her emotions to drive her to do things that kind of like same thing that happens in the comics when she fucking wipes out mutants? Like she's done some heinous shit, but I don't think that makes her a villain, because when you look at the overall arc of her character, she does way more good across the board with a few moments usually out of emotion that cause her to do terrible things.
See, I would agree with you on Wanda. I would disagree with you on Agatha on that. What good did she do? Aside from murdering a billion witches, like...
I mean, she inspired Jolene, one of the greatest songs of all time.
Come on.
That was one of my favorite, like, blinking and miss it things.
That might have been it. I fucking died when she's like, yeah, I'm the inspiration for that. And then it shows her getting slapped
by Dolly Parton. She was on the Titanic. Dude, just all this stuff was
all
so
that
incredible.
Stuff was good. No, but seriously, Agatha's a villain in the purest sense of the word, because no matter what, up until Billy, now you might say that she's redeeming herself now, but up until that point, nothing was done good. Everything before that,
Here's the only argument I would give you. Depends on how you view witches. If you use the puritanical sense that all witches are evil, all she's doing is killing witches.
Yeah, but I'm not a Puritan. I mean, let's be realistic. Were those witches evil? Were they vile creatures, like needing to be stamped out to save humanity? No. Was she doing it just to make herself stronger and to feel something because she lost her son? Yes.
I think.
Does that make you a villain? Yes.
I think binding Jen was probably the worst thing that she ever did.
Yeah, again.
For hire, essentially, too. It's not even like she did it in like a...
And then just kept her in the fucking dark about it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To
me, Agatha's a villain.
Agatha's a terrible person, but that's what she was invented to be, too. That's the other thing where it's just like she... And I almost think that's what's the best about her is like it's almost good to have someone that's just truly like, and even in her relationship with Billy, like, I don't think that really changes who Agatha is, right?
No.
Like, I don't.
No, and that's the thing is, like, coming away from that, Agatha's a ghost and everything like that, and I'm like, dude, Billy, you better watch your fucking back, man. She'll stab you in it the second she gets a chance.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you right now, if some entity, and there are several in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, that could offer her to come back some way, somehow.
Yeah.
But if they want Billy, dude, she's going to fucking turn on him like that.
Yeah.
I don't trust her
I
fucking
I
as
thought
far
she-
as my daughter could throw.
I
her.
thought she would betray him in this show. In
I
that
was
second to
expecting
last
it.
episode, I thought she was going to
Yeah.
full on turn on him. Because, I mean, they were setting it up for that, which kind of made me doubt it. Because whenever they, like, full on, like, show you, like, making an agreement to, like, help get this kid dead,
Yep.
then you could whatever. Like, that just, the fact that she agreed, I'm like, they wouldn't have showed us that if that was really what's going to happen. But at the same time, she is Agatha.
She is?
Just a quick pause. The cut through the fucking background for Death, when she cuts through the background and then go, like,
Oh, yeah.
this dude,
Down the road.
incredible.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things and almost the entire show was practical. That's the thing that's
Yeah.
mesmerizing. For one, it's one of the cheapest things that Disney's done in Marvel or in Star Wars. Like,
And it looked the best.
dude, incredible. I was watching every episode. I was like, where is the Scotch tape and strings? Like, because
Yeah.
if this is the cheapest thing they've ever done, and when I don't hate Acolyte, but having watched Acolyte, knowing they spent $250 million on that show, there's times I watch that show going, how the fuck did this cost $250 million?
Yeah.
There are some scenes where it's just like, that doesn't look, not
That's a
not,
flashlight in that guy's hand.
yeah, it's like, it's not the quality of the show, not the writing. There was just times where I was watching it going, that doesn't look good.
Yeah.
Like, that's just bad filmmaking. And this cost $250 million, and this costs like
It's
$40
like,
million. But
I
it's
saw
like,
I saw a reel the other day where it's like Dawson's Creek in like its 5th season was one of the most popular shows on TV, and they couldn't afford fake snow. They literally had
blankets.
blankets.
Yeah, I've seen
and you
that.
could see them walking on it, and it's like it's obviously very, very obviously
Just a
not
white
snow.
blanket,
Yeah. It's like that's the
Just-
kind of shit that you saw in Acolyte, and it's like, really,
Yeah.
really,
There was just times
with
you could just
your
te-
budget.
Yeah, and it's so for this one to be so cheap, it's kind of like Godzilla -1. You know,
Yeah.
for them to say that was like a $15 million movie, like, are you fucking kidding me?
It looked awesome.
Dude, I've seen $500 million movies that look shittier than that. And I'm not even saying Godzilla -1 looked shitty. It looked fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Like, when I walked out, I read the IMDb and it said that. I was like,
I'm
no,
like,
no, that's
you're missing like 2 zeros.
And
there.
originally, I think they were saying 20 million. Then the director was interviewed, and he's like, I wish I had 20 million. It was more
Yeah.
like 15. And like, so I read 20 million. I'm like, no. I just walked out of the theater. I'm like, there's
you're
no,
missing.
there's
You're
no
missing.
way.
You're missing a zero.
I'm like, I'm like, fact check, because that's fake news. Because
Yeah.
there's no way. Like, and that's the way this show was. For them to say this is the cheapest, like, dude, this was incredible. One, you had an incredible cast,
Yeah.
top to bottom. Because even if you didn't like Jen, she rubbed you the wrong way. The actor did an incredible
oh
job.
no, the character was
No, I
amazing
know,
and everything
I'm
like
just-
that. It's just I don't like the character.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm supposed to.
Which is unfortunate, because she's probably coming back. would be
I
my
know,
guess.
and I'm just like, why couldn't we have kept Lilia instead of her?
Oh, dude, give me a Lilia cinematic universe, sir. She was so good, just at every stage. Like, all the witch humor too,
Oh,
just
yeah.
references to, like, I mean, we talked about the Hansel and Gretel. Like, there's
Salem witch trials and everything.
yeah, they're just. I feel like this show was just brilliant, like kind of like WandaVision did for television, where it just had all these tributes to all
Yeah.
these shows. I feel like this was just like the ultimate celebration of like witches
Witches.
throughout pop
Yeah.
culture, and it was incredible. It was
Yeah.
just so cool to see. And for me, I hate doing like immediate reactions. But my immediate reaction to this is, I think this might top WandaVision. This might be my number one show now. Might be WandaVision, might be Agatha, WandaVision, then Miss Marvel for me,
over Loki.
and then Loki before. I liked Loki. I've never been the biggest Loki fan.
That's true. You haven't.
it just-
that goes back to the very first Thor.
Yeah, it just he's a good character. He's just not as for me as he is for other people.
Yeah.
Tom Hiddleston is fucking incredible, and he's probably helped me like the character more than I would have had a lesser actor taken the role.
Yeah.
If the lesser actor taken the role, I'd probably just be like, I fucking hate Loki, dude. Like, but Tom Hiddleston's truly made it something
Yeah.
good.
We're
But-
going to talk about the fact that Dogma is now officially part of the MCU.
Well, that was years ago in Captain Marvel.
I mean, but now they own.
Or wait, no, that was Mallrats.
Yeah,
in
that was
Captain-
Mallrats.
Captain Marvel.
But now we have Loki in Thor. They got Matt Damon playing Loki.
Oh.
He's Loki, and
Yeah. Now we just need the Loki's mask.
That's true.
Green mask.
Yeah.
Smoking.
You never answered my question though. Agatha, villain, yes or no?
Yeah, I think she's meant to
Okay.
be. I think and I think she's meant to be. I do think that
I just want to make sure I get a clear answer.
you could hedge and maybe call her an anti-hero.
I could see that argument.
And
now,
I think some of that comes
now.
Some of that comes from Catherine though.
Yes.
Because Catherine just has a way where you're just like, I want to like her.
Yeah, and
like,
I think that you could put her in the camps with like the Deadpools and the Punishers and stuff like that. I think you could put her in that category. That she's done some fucked up shit, but now she's maybe turning a corner. I think I'm not ready to put her there yet, but we'll see what happens going forward.
all I'm going to say is Aubrey Plaza playing Death. Thanos didn't go far enough.
No.
If we're going to say that Thanos snapped to impress Death, I would have wiped out 100% of the fucking galaxy or universe.
I mean, that's what his end game was. Hey-oh.
Well, and also in the comics, there's also a point when Deadpool's in love with her too.
I'm wondering if we're going to get. Have you seen the picture yet? There's the famous meme where it's the guy walking with hand in hand with his girlfriend. He's turning around looking at the other hot chick.
Yeah.
It's his girl from Deadpool, and it's him all messed up, and he's looking at Aubrey Plaza. I'm just like, oh boy.
Yeah, she is a goddess.
Yeah.
But no, Catherine Hahn's incredible. I think she really carried the show long enough for us to fall in love with the other characters.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's really the thing where, like, I remember, like, even when the show was just about to debut and stuff, there's people like, oh, who asked for this show? And, like, why would anyone want this? It was just the negative reactions that were like, dude, you don't ask for anything, really. Like, it just comes down to, like, give me something and make me love it. And I think this show did it in spades.
This is the prime example. What I'm going to say about Agatha all along, this is the prime example of what Disney series should look like.
Yes.
I don't want Captain America in a series. I don't want Hawkeye in a series.
I think Hawkeye works because he's a little bit. He's lower tier,
but he's a fucking Avenger. Like, for fuck's sake, put some respect on the goddamn man's name. All right,
like Deadpool. Give me a bow and arrow, and I'm fucking Hawkeye.
Like, enough of this slander shit. I'm sorry. Were any of you at the fucking Battle of New York? No, shut the fuck up. Hey. Hawkeye was there taking down Chitauri before any of you fucking drew up on the scene. So shut the fuck up. Put some respect on that Avenger's name.
I do.
All right?
And they never lost a battle when he was involved.
That's goddamn right. Batting 1,000 with him. All right?
Oh, man. So what's your favorite Witch's Road version?
Oh, the one in the basement. The first one that we heard.
Yeah, the chant, I think is what they call it. Because there's that one. There's the rock version. I think they may have put a video / Spotify out now for the final. The one that kind of goes over time.
Oh, okay.
And then there's also one that they did at D23, and it's literally the actors on stage, and they just wear like robes, and it's literally the actors singing on stage.
I have not listened to any of the other versions outside of the show than the one in the basement.
Yeah. What was I going to say? There's something about that one where I can't remember now, but I do love that one. Mrs. Hart. Am I supposed to know this song?
Am I supposed to know this song?
And then by the end, she's fucking whooping all around with the rest of them. It's so great, dude.
She was amazing.
She's incredible. I do like that she and Alice died, not because the characters deserved it, but more of just like it gave weight to it all, right? Like the fact, and also that's going to put some baggage on Billy, which it did, where he's just like, I killed them. That's my fault. Like, that's good stuff. Like that's the Uncle Ben type. I could have stopped it.
Yeah.
Like
I'm responsible.
I'm responsible. It's the most genius stuff for a hero.
You see that in some versions of Batman where Bruce gets scared of the show and so they leave early and that's why they get mugged.
Yeah, I was about to say, is there a reason for Batman? But then I remembered, it's because he's afraid, and that's the reason.
In some instances they do that. In other instances it's just after the show.
If there's hundreds of people coming out, you're gonna be less likely of that happening.
But when you come out halfway through, it's like, oh,
there's a family,
got him,
and she's wearing pearls.
Hey, look at that! I like pearls. So fucking stupid. I'm so sick of seeing pearls.
Well, I do have to.
Gonna get us banned.
It's a short clip.
Hopefully it's enough.
Yeah, just a couple short clips there.
Watch out for those Disneys.
Great music across the board.
Yeah.
I mean, both in WandaVision and in this, like the people they had doing the music.
Yeah.
Incredible job. I think last time I looked, the Witches Road had some pretty massive numbers on it, which is cool to see. Yeah, this is good stuff though. Again, I guess I didn't ask you, where does this rank now after this show is out? Like
in terms of the shows, or
in terms of the Marvel shows,
I think it's 2. I think it's going to take the place of Loki. Yeah, I think WandaVision's 1. I think Agatha's 2. I'm going to put Miss Marvel 3 and then Loki 4. I think I'm with you on that.
So I think you and I just flip WandaVision and Agatha then.
Yeah.
Which is tough for me. I am going to rewatch both, I think. I was thinking about that leading up into this episode where I'm like, I wanted to rewatch it anyway. I was going to do it last weekend for this episode, but I didn't get a chance. So what I might do is just watch WandaVision, then Agatha, because that'd be really interesting to go across the board into the show. So good stuff, though. Let's go ahead and let me see. There, yeah, that's the right slide. Let's go ahead and throw the emails out. If you have want to tell us your rankings, what did you think of Agatha? Who's your favorite witch? Any of that kind of fun stuff. And also the line from WandaVision. And I killed Sparky too, but then we find out that Boner killed Sparky in this. So.
She made me kill the dog.
She made me kill the dog. But if you want to email the show, you can send emails to peter@geekeryabides.com or Tad, Tadd, at geekeryabides.com. That is the way to contact the show. And actually, I think unless Peter objects, I think we can announce the rest of the year for episodes.
No, it's good. I'm all for it.
Okay, so let's go ahead and I only have a slide for your next episode, but we could talk about the rest of the year because I think I realized recently, I'm like, wait a minute, why do we always just go episode to episode? If we really wanted to plan out further ahead, we certainly can. I'm not going to hold us to it. So if there's times that we're like, I don't think we ever struggle, but I think sometimes we're just like.
There was one time that we struggled, and it was your episode, and you're like, I don't know what the fuck we're going to do. I'm going to leave it as TBD. And then I was like, hey, I watched House of the Dragon. You're like, fuck. I heard you typing. Yeah, that was the only one I think that we've had this entire show run.
Yeah.
Where we're like, I don't know what the next episode's going to be.
Yeah, indeed. So your next episode.
Yeah, is going to be about the Penguin. It just wrapped last Sunday for us. So phenomenal series. We're going to talk about it in depth. Don't worry about it. I got a lot of good topics to talk about on this.
I have a couple too.
I'm so excited for it. And then the episode after that, we're going to talk about one of, if not the linchpins for our friendship.
And we've touched on it.
We've touched on it, but we are going to talk solely and only about Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, which has...
Don't try it.
Don't try it, which has, of course...
That's fucking Obi-Wan Kenobi.
And, of course...
Hello there.
And...
Do it.
I mean... Right there, like 3 things from our soundboard, right there for that. And it's like, there's a reason it's on there for a reason. Like
General Kenobi.
We talked about it earlier. Is that the memes before the memes? Tad and I have been quoting this goddamn movie to each other for 15 years.
Yeah,
20 years. 20 years next year.
Yeah, 20 years next year.
Yeah.
I hope it gets a theatrical
release. And we've talked about, dude, it better.
If it gets, because
if it gets a theatrical release, we're going to see it 3 times again, right?
They did it for Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
They did a
3D release.
Yeah. So, and then what did they do this year? They did, they just re-released Phantom Menace for some reason.
Oh, really?
Because when I did my marathon.
It's 25 years this year. Because
99.
Yeah, 99.
So it was the 25 year. Okay.
Yeah.
So
they released it in 3D a few years back, I think for the 20th.
Yeah, maybe.
It was the first time in 3D, I think.
Probably.
Because I went and saw it in 3D. That's the only reason I know.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it's coming up on the 20-year anniversary. But yeah, that'll be a fun one to discuss.
That'll be our episode, the first episode in December. Because I know you don't have a slide for it, so I'm going to look at the calendar.
And
that's December 14th.
And we also flip-flopped, so we actually have 2 Peter episodes in a row, which are those 2. Because I wanted the last episode, because I want to do a 2025 look ahead, which basically I'm just going to go through. I usually do a deep dive and figure out movie-wise what I want to do for 2025. But I'm going to this year all extend it out, look at what TV is coming, what books are we looking forward to. Basically everything Geekery Abides-wise, what the fuck is 2025 got on the horizon. And what I want to do, too, is we'll do like resolutions, like pop culture resolutions. Like I need to see X, Y, and Z, or I want to read the new Stephen King, but whatever it might be. And then at the end of it all, the end of 2025, we can review our.
How'd we do?
Because like one of them, I'll even tease it now. Harry Potter 2025 for me, I think.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I don't think there's room now in the year. Like,
no.
I really want to go back and rewatch all the Flanagan stuff.
Yeah.
Because most of it I've seen once, and they all deserve a rewatch.
We're talking movies, right? For Harry Potter?
Yes.
Okay,
movies and then books come after.
Books come after.
Watch and then read. So
that's always been Tad's philosophy.
Yes. So that's one I will give you right now, a month or so in advance. That and
finally
we'll figure out how that's going to work on the episodes and how we're going to do that. But in terms of like, what do we do? One movie per episode, or do we like bunch them up? I don't know, but we'll figure all that out. But
I have a way that I think we could do it very, very easily.
All right. Well, that's
I'm going to drive for that one.
So that's the rest of the year's episodes. I'm really looking forward to all of them. The Penguin's gonna be fun. Revenge of the Sith, of course, and then I can't wait because 2025 has got a fucking banger of a year. I haven't even done the deep dive yet. And no, there's a lot of really cool fucking shit coming in 2025, dude.
Daredevil, Born Again.
Yeah, dude. Captain America. Avengers. Thunderbolts. I'm convinced they're going to be the Avengers by the end of the movie.
You think that's what the asterisk for is, that it's able to be changed?
The end of it'll be the new Avengers or something.
It'll say Thunderbolts, and then it'll
Avengers or West Coast Avengers. They're going to do something. They're going to end up being the Avengers. And then, dude, fucking Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Superman. Like, dude, there's so much stuff coming out in 2025, dude.
Let's do it.
I'm stoked. So that'll do it for this episode.
You know what's not coming out in 2025?
The Batman.
Batman 2.
Or the
That's
Batman
right.
2.
The Batman 2. That's right.
2026, though.
That's right.
And you just got Penguin, for God's sake. Like, that is a pretty good consolation prize, man.
But now I got to go like a whole 2 years before I get something.
That show is pretty choice. But I will sign off, as I always do, by saying love what you love, let your geek flag fly high, and to hell with anyone that tells you anything about guilty pleasures, because there's no such thing. If you love something, fucking love it.
That's right. Witches, aren't we all?
It's a good spin. Good spin with your shirt there too. I actually was thinking about a Scream episode, and I'm like, we already done a Scream episode. I just love those movies. But yeah, we'll see you guys in a fortnight.
Bye, everyone.